Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dungeon the Mad Mage. This is session 26. Zach, you are echoing again just a tad. Just pick that out. I actually noticed because I noticed your nut like 2 times.
Maybe I pressed it twice.
Maybe. I don't think you pressed it twice. Anyways, hello, everybody. We are back for some more Dungeon the Mad Mage.
Omni nut.
Omni nut. The Omni nut. This is now no longer the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. This is the Dungeon of the Omninut. I hope you guys are okay with this change. We'll be replacing Halaster Blackcloak with a new final bad guy.
The Omninut.
All right, jokes aside, let's play some D&D, guys. Let's start things off with a bit of recap. So, previously in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party was attacked by 2 rust monsters, pony-sized insectoids that rust metal with a simple touch of their antennae. Fortunately, this effect doesn't work on magic, and unfortunately for the rust monsters, the party was way out of their league. A few moments after the combat began, and the monsters were defeated. From there, the party traveled westward, finding a series of trashed rooms as well as a long corridor that for some reason contained wintry weather. The party spent some time investigating the corridor before Ashes, being somewhat resistant to the cold from his infernal heritage, investigated further. He braved the blizzard-like conditions at the end of the corridor and found a large room with a pyramid-like ceiling and walls. On the north wall glowed a bright, dwarvish rune, and the entire room was bitterly cold. Finding nothing else, and with the party having no knowledge or understanding of what the purpose of this room might be, they opted to instead explore the other rooms to the west. There they found debris and trash, as well as the dried husk of a giant spider smashed by a chandelier. Further north, they found thick webs and burrows, and hundreds of tiny spiders. Assuming that there were larger arachnids nearby, the party began to cautiously move forward, burning the web as they went. This was a prudent plan, for shortly afterwards they were attacked by a clutter of giant spiders. The spiders used their superior mobility to maneuver around the burrows, spraying sticky strands of web at the intruders. But our party was easily able to fend them off and kill them in rapid succession. In the aftermath of the battle, the party investigated the den and found twitching cocoons. Matashtai, hoping to find someone alive, began to break the cocoons open, but was greeted only by the dead and more spiders.
Greeted only by regret.
Only by regret. Fortunately, these 2 were easily dealt with. Afterward, the party headed back the way they had come, deciding to explore
How'd you deal with the regret?
That's a good question. Afterwards, the party headed back the way they came, deciding to explore east from the rust monster room. This led them down a long hall that wound left and right, back and forth, before eventually depositing them back at the hallway leading to the Dead Eyes watchpost. From here, the party decided it might be best to head back topside. The journey back to the first floor was relatively uneventful, but once there, Ashes sensed the presence of another lycanthrope. At the Gricksnack watchpost, the party found more giant rats, one of which Ashes was able to identify as a were. Unfortunately, they all escaped. However, at that moment, both Ashes and Ezrah, reacting to the blessing of the Keeper of Secrets, Dumathoin, noticed a glowing wall, faint outline of a secret door. And that is where we fade back in. Back on the first level of the dungeon, actually. Pop over to that music real quick. So we are back at the Gricksnack watchpost for everyone. And Ashes and Ezrah have just seen on this northern little section, right? That this wall is glowing with the faint outline of a secret door.
Frickin' Where's Waldo bullshit.
Hop over here real quick to this.
There.
And all around you, right, the decaying corpses. Yeah, right there. Right in front of Ashes. All around you are the decaying corpses of the carrion crawlers that had been killed here previously. So, what do you guys want to do?
Well, do we want to check it out? I know we were heading back up top, but
Ashes will stomp towards the door angrily, seeing as he lost his wear once again.
So, as you approach the door, right, the blessing conferred upon you by Dumathoin allows you to see easily a little notch in the wall that is slightly kind of like out of position. It looks as though perhaps it is a button to press and open this.
Good chick.
And the door does the classic very like pushes out just a tad and slides over out of the way. It actually like cuts off this entryway, this hallway, just a tad.
You hear
like as it slides over.
Puzzle noise.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
All right.
And you see a long hall stretching out before you, leading out into the darkness.
All right.
Before we get more in depth into this, I did want to note, right? We glossed over this last week because Zach was out of town and having technical issues, right? Fighting with the setup that he had. But we have discussed this since, and Bones, as a character, would have been interested in seeing what he could have obtained from the rust monsters, especially the antennas, right, being the main factors in what they actually do. So,
anti-rust juice.
So, exactly. So, if you were wanting to try to harvest those, now they are not bones, so they don't lie especially in your purview, like most other things do. But if you still want to harvest them, you absolutely can try to do so.
Yes, I'd like to attempt that.
Okay, then if that is the case, you can either try to roll a nature or a medicine check. Just need to beat a DC of 10 to be able to get away with something serviceable.
Okay.
Okay. 16. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So you are able to in the aftermath of the rust monster battle, you're able to ascertain what these creatures are through discussions with your allies, right? Able to ascertain what these creatures are, what their kind of threat is, and then you're able to, utilizing the fact that you, unlike 99% of the people that are probably going to come across these types of things, have cutting implements that are not made out of iron. So you can actually go to town cutting the antennas off of these things, and then neatly packing them away. You kind of like wrap them in some sort of fabric or something like that and stow them either in your amidst your gear or in your bag of holding or something like that. So just notate that you have 2 antenna for rust monster. So 2 rust monster antenna.
Roger Dodger. And
Dodger has been
Hannah.
lodged.
Okay.
Thank you kindly.
Yes, sir. Fantastic. All right, so sorry for that little segue there. Jumping back into the present now, everyone sees this hallway laid out before them. And the idea is you guys are actually going to go down here and start looking at things?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes.
start to progress forward and we will see what happens. So, as you come forward, you do see, right, that the hallway in front of you dead ends, and you see there is a hall moving to the right. So as you guys come up to this corner, you're going to notice some things, okay? You're going to see that in this hallway here, right, you're going to notice that there are 16 ancient shields bearing emblems from long-forgotten realms hanging upon the northern and southern walls of this hallway. Okay? there is a cold, calm air here. You can almost feel the presence of some sort of ancient intent. But whatever significance this hall has, or once had, it seems dormant.
I see. I go around corner. Keep going.
Okay. As you move forward,
Is there any kind of like writing or any, I don't know, pictures? Just shields.
there's just these shields,
Like,
right? And each
Kind of
shield
writing on the
is
shield.
absolutely each shield is some sort of different ornate depiction of long forgotten dwarven heritage, right? One will like hold this great like bronzed carving of an enormous mountain, right, with a immense cavern underneath, right, just this yawning maw underneath. Another is two dwarves fighting, right, or facing one another, right. So you see, each one of them seems to have some sort of significance. None of these are just basic shields, like the shields that surround the entry point, right, where you come down from the well of the yawning portal. Those shields are more mundane shields. Those are the shields of the fallen that have been posted up by their friends and allies, right, to remember them by. These shields are something else. These shields are a memory of a people, of clans, of history. It is about this point, right, as you guys make it about halfway through, right, that just in front of you, just in front of you, in the air, you hear this loud pop, and then you see a kind of familiar at this point, large floating eye, with this kind of like purple iris, just turn and scan the hallway, and then it sees you, and then it just stares at you.
Ezra summons his mage hand and starts poking it again.
So immediate response, the mage hand goes up and starts poking. It doesn't immediately just like poof this time, but you can see as the mage hand pokes, it doesn't connect with anything. It just kind of like flies through the apparition, right? It doesn't seem to have a solid form or anything like that. But there is this moment, right, where like the mage hand goes through, and the eye sees the mage hand, and it looks at it as the hand goes, and it goes through, and it does this weird like swivel, like it's trying to like find where the hand is for a second before the hand like goes out the other side. So it does that kind of like, oh god, it's a glitch in the game type scenario. And then it like rights itself and looks back at all of you, you know.
I just keep doing it until it disappears.
So it ignores you, or it ignores the hand after like the initial poke. And assuming that you guys don't do anything for a few moments, a couple of heartbeats pass, right? And then it winks out of existence.
I'm not gonna get used to that.
I wonder if he checks on everyone like that.
I mean, it
Probably.
might not be Halaster. It might be someone else that's keeping their eye on us.
But why us?
um,
There's plenty of other people down here.
Well, I mean, they
but
could
there's
be.
only one us.
I don't think it's. I'm
That's a good
assuming
point.
it's not just us.
You think they spend all day just popping little magic eyeballs around everywhere?
I mean,
Yes.
he's the Mad Mage. Why wouldn't he?
I don't know. I'd be doing more mad things.
All right, so as you guys come to this corner, right, having this brief conversation, you see to the north ahead of you, there's a doorway. There is a hall that curves southwards, right? And what's your vision like, Ashes? Yeah, I think as soon as you actually come up to this corner, you can kind of see, again to the south, right? You see that glow, right? Again, another glow of a secret revealed unto you. And there is another secret door all the way to the south. But the hall does seem like it extends back to the east, if you go to the south as well.
It might be a good idea to go ahead and open that door before this blessing wears off, if it does.
Take control of Bones away from Ezra.
I was gonna say, what is happening?
I don't have it.
Oh, gotcha. Let me double check.
It's definitely Mitch. I saw him grinning the entire time.
Gotcha.
Take it away from Jacob.
I don't have it.
No, I'm
Well,
working.
not anymore.
I'm working on freeing your character in a moment. Okay, so
I'm in a wall.
No!
That was not me.
That's
That
fine.
was Mitch.
I got you.
Probably.
I got you. So, so you guys decide to ignore the door for now, right? What? You decide to ignore the door for now and begin to head southward, right?
Oh yeah, secret door, baby.
And you see again, right? You see another secret door, and again, this one you see the outline, but the mechanism with which to open it is not hidden at all. It's just a lever on the side of the wall in front of it, right? So you pull the lever. Pull the lever.
Pull the lever, Krunk.
Grit snack.
And you do, yeah. You find yourself let out on the other side of the Gricksnack watchpost.
Okay, cool. Just making sure that
Fuck
that's...
Yep.
All right.
There is a hall that leads eastward, and there are another 2 doors in that direction.
Do we see what the trigger is on the other side to open said?
If like you duck your head around the corner real quick, either one of you, Ezra or Ashes, because you are blessed right now, you'll see almost immediately there is a pretty much identical to the door on the other side. There's a little chunk of stone that's a little offset compared to the rest of the wall. Just press a button.
As we walk, I'm gonna chug a healing potion, just in case.
Okay, sure. So, you guys now have a door to the north and then 2 doors to the east. Where do you want to go?
I go here.
Alright, so you head eastward. John?
I move to the other side of the door in a flanking position.
We're flanking
Okay.
with our body.
So, Bones, you can
Hello.
hear...
I hear things.
Just immediately. You can hear on the other side of the door...
I say.
You hear the squeaking and chittering of rats.
Okay, so I go.
Where?
Like, a fair amount of them, right? Like, it sounds like there's a chunk of them.
And then I draw.
Are we going cat mode? You're gonna get some... Do that? Oh, you get...
Claws out.
Alright, I get ready.
Claws out? Alright.
I super soft. I tap the handle, see if it's unlocked.
Let me check real quick. Yes, this door is unlocked.
Alright, I look at Ashes, and I look at Matt, and I look back at Ezra. And I go. And then I fling it open.
Kick it with more force so you can get in easier.
Alright, the door is flung open, right? You
God, all the rats.
immediately before you see not just rats. There are dozens of rats in here, just like tiny rats, but there are also a large number of giant rats that you guys have seen these before, right? And so they are startled by this, right? Sudden bursting of the door, right? They're startled. Their heads come up. They squeak, right? They begin to rush away, right, from you. But beyond them, so these immediate ones begin to rush away just a bit. But beyond them, right, is one particularly rotund giant rat, like you can see at the back, and Ashes immediately, right? Your winds howling, the pendant, right, responds. This is aware. Absolutely, this is a lycanthrope. No doubt about it, right? So there's this squeak, right? A bunch of these giant rats freak out and run, and then there's this rotund, and this rat he's not like sitting per se, but he's doing that thing that like fat cats do, where they're kind of like, you know, like
they lean back.
And
they're
they're on their haunches and they're kind of just like rest. He's doing that thing, and so you see. Let me actually describe it, right?
It's not the same one. It's not the same rat as before, is it?
No, it is not actually. So.
If you let a fat rat outrun you, I'd be disappointed.
No. So you see, there's the sound of squeaking rats emanating from within. The small horde scurries away from you as you burst into the room, throwing the door open. And ahead of you, plopped on kind of this big stone slab, is an obese example of one of these rats, and it just looks up at you and just kind of sniffs a bit. And you can see it kind of very, like, lackadaisically, like, yawns and stretches. And it's got these little bitty, like, twigs of legs compared to its ham hock, like, actual limbs, right? And just kind of, like, stretches and yawns. And as it's stretching and yawning, you see its form begins to morph out of that of a giant rat and into that of a rat man. What are you guys doing as this is happening? You guys kind of like wait? Do you what do you do?
I looked at
Mitch, you are muted.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. If I see this thing turning into a man, I'm going like, what the fuck? And turn back to Ashes like, what do I do?
We wait.
Okay.
Take another dagger. So I got a dagger.
I'll
in my mouth.
step forward. I want to like.
You're doing fucking Zorro.
Yeah, I take another one. Now I can't talk.
Gotcha. Okay. So Ashes, you were doing what? You're taking a step forward.
I'm gonna take a step in.
Okay. This were-rat goes through the process of transforming out of its giant rat form and into its hybrid form, right? And even in its hybrid form, this is a rotund individual. Like, it is not your normally, like, agile rat man, right? This thing has a gut on it. It's got these like huge, almost like chipmunk cheeks, right? They're so big that it looks like he's kind of like holding his breath, right? And he's got these kind of like small, tiny, pinkish eyes, like he's obese. And you realize, you look around him, there are like scraps of food here or there all around him. It doesn't look as if he has moved from this position in some time. It looks like maybe his giant rats bring him food or something.
Wow, that's not healthy.
So you wait
That's
through.
the good life.
Yeah, you wait through this transformation, and then like he's doing this as he like stretches and yawns, and then he goes from like fat rat on his haunches, right, to fat man rat on his haunches, because he's still sitting, right, and he just like Oh. Oh. Quiet! Quiet, quiet, quiet! Because there's the squeaking and chittering is still kind of like happening. And he just, yes! Shut up! And the chittering begins to quiet down. We have guests! Who are you?
Oh, we're just, an adventuring party. Exploring the dungeon.
Kind of grunts and he says, "Oh, you must have keen eyes to have found those doors. They're pretty well hidden. It took us ages."
Right. Sorry to barge in here, uninvited, but we did not know that somebody was, living here?
Oh, think nothing of it. It's nothing. Really, we're just here for a while. We've been exploring, you see? And then, well, there were the, goblins down south. And they're
Well, if you're worried about goblins,
Oh, I know they're dead now. We send out scavenging parties every once in a while.
do you happen to have another, lycanthrope among your numbers?
He kind of like he narrows his already pink and narrow eyes at you and says, interesting word choice. Sylvia. Yes. There's another.
I believe we've met.
Well, let's not be rude. Introductions! And he kind of like, he claps his pudgy fucking hands together. And he goes, I am Flendel! And who might you all be?
Flindle.
And he kind of like, as he says this, he kind of like tries to like scrunch himself upwards into more of a standing-ish position than a sitting position. like he's trying to be a little bit, hospitable or respectful or anything like that. He's, but it really just looks like he tires himself out a little bit. He doesn't make a whole lot of upward motion,
Matt kind of relaxes his stance a little bit and says, hello, I'm Matt.
Matt! And?
Ashes.
Ashes? That's not a name! That's what happens
It's
when you
a
burn
thing.
something!
Yeah, it's don't worry about it.
And you? There in the back? The one with the blade in its teeth?
Hey.
Own.
That's a name. And he points a hand at
I
Ashes,
put one of
and
them
he-
up.
and he says,
Oh.
you should take note.
Right.
I agree.
So, and he does this kind of like, he tries to do this like finger hand thing together, right? He tries to do the villain like so type thing, right? He does it poorly. His fingers are off rhythm, and they're so pudgy that he has difficulty like actually moving them like that in a free moving manner, right? And he kind of like smacks his lips again, and he goes, adventurers, you said. Exploring, you said.
Right.
Well, what are your
Hey,
interests?
How'd that Penelope chick become a were-rat?
Sylvia?
Sylvia. I
Oh.
forgot the name.
I've known Sylvia for years. She's always been a little cagey, but I don't know if she was born or turned. Before my time, though. I try not to pry.
Is she also, is she just a rat that happens to also be a lichen, or is she also where?
Odd questions? She's aware, like me.
How's that work? If you're already a rat, do you get bit by a
Well,
were human?
so, like, if you were a beast of low intelligence that is bit by a lichen, you can also transform, but you are still a beast.
Yeah, it's possible, right? It's still possible to convey the transformation. It depends on the source of the transformation, whether it's like the curse variety, right? It's hard to transition a curse depending on the type of curse. Sometimes, though, like whether it's the virus kind of concept, that can get transmitted. In theory, if you turn a mundane, stupid beast, right, it will, like, you can turn a wolf into a werewolf, but it'll still have the brain of a wolf, right?
Oh.
But you can turn a man into a werewolf,
human.
and it'll still have the brain of a man. Sometimes.
Okay, then.
Some restrictions apply.
Yeah, rephrase that. Many restrictions may apply depending on how you're handling lycanthropy.
Actually, we've been tasked for something. We heard that there was a wizard on floor 2 that might have dealings with some lichens around. Would you happen to know anything about that?
Let me see if Flindle would actually know anything. Check. Got...
He is actually the wizard's brother.
Was it a wizard, or was it a...
He's a wizard.
He is the wizard himself.
A sorcerer.
I thought they said wizard.
Okay. Flindle will actually, like, narrow his eyes again, right? He does they're already super narrow and pinkish, right? But he narrows them even more and he goes, Rizaril. A little shit. No, we are not associated.
Rizaril. Sorry, noting.
I had heard he was somewhere. I didn't know he was on the second floor. It's been a while since I've been back down towards Skullport area. Been meaning to make my way back there. But he kind of like looks around. He says, well, things have just been so comfortable here. Oh! Yes, as I was saying, I was getting to something. You see, okay. You're adventurers, right?
Yes, that's me.
Searching for treasure? Excitement? Challenge?
Yep, that's us. Good old treasure.
Alright.
Like all those things.
Well,
Also,
I love
glory.
treasure.
there is
Treasure's probably my favorite thing in
something
this world.
to the north of here. We've, well, I've sent a couple rats to investigate. Like I said, we've been searching, exploring, scavenging. Only, well, they never come back. So, I must assume that something is... Now, I myself have not ventured northward, but I have sent a rat or two to scout and come back and report to me. And they talk of a wind that howls.
How far north?
Oh, not far. Just
Oh, just north of this room.
right north. Yes, indeed. That's why we've been here for a while. We kind of hit a bit of a dead end. Oh, did
Probably
you?
the door we just walked by.
Oh, the one around the corner and back up the other way? Past the shields?
Yeah.
Well, not past the shields, but, you know, the shield hall? Have you seen the shield hall?
Yeah, what's the deal with the shield hall?
I don't know. You know, I thought about maybe like taking them down and seeing if there's anything valuable, but at the same time,
Yeah, I don't think you should take them down.
they might be cursed, and I don't want to piss off any dwarven spirits. And you watch, right? You see him actually like look from side to side, and it's clear like he's looking at the giant rats that are in the room with him, and he goes, and you know, they're not very good at getting things off walls, so I don't want to touch it. And it's suddenly very clear that if he could get the rats to do it, he probably would have already.
Gotcha. Yeah. But,
and Sylvia just refuses to cooperate, so she's of no help.
She's a wily one.
Sounds like Sylvia's a troublemaker.
Oh, no, she's fine. She's just independent.
Independently a troublemaker?
Don't tell anyone I said so, but she has lofty ambitions, goals of becoming a lieutenant or some other such nonsense.
Lieutenant, we're actually hoping to speak with her to find out about...
For the Xanathar! And he says that just kind of like matter-of-factly, just like obviously, right?
Okay.
Well, if we were to help you with this wind issue, what kind of riches and glory are you providing?
Well, I would be willing to.
Riches and glory?
I would be willing to proffer a sum, a modest sum, mind you, because I'm assuming you'll be able to take first take of whatever is there or past the thing's den, its lair. So, you know, come on, the adventure is part of the prize itself, right?
And
and he kind of like he pats himself, right? He does this and like pulls out a small purse out of some folds and he jingles it a little bit. Says, 20 gold
each.
You think I'm made of money? He pokes himself and he chuckles and he says, definitely not made of money.
I like him.
Well, maybe we could trade in information then. I'm sure you and your rats know your way around this level pretty well. Maybe you could point out some secrets or hidden passages we haven't found.
Secrets? Secrets. He says, What secrets do I know of on this passage?
Well, I think it's only fair that we take care of the issue before you tell us.
He's not telling you. He's like thinking about it. He's like, He's trying to like judge whether he feels he has secrets to tell you that would be potentially worth your while. Like he seems like a semi-fair guy. He doesn't. So he's like actually entertaining the idea. He's like, perhaps could be of use. If we fail to come to some information terms or monetary exchange to your liking, perhaps I could put in a good word for you down in Skullport if you're ever planning on visiting.
We do have business there.
See, it all comes full circle. And he kind of like taps himself. And he makes this, like, smoothing motion on his belly like it's a circle. And he smiles to himself like it's his own inside joke.
I am in shape. round.
Round as a shape. Yep.
How you spell his name again?
Flyndol. F-L-Y-N-D-O-L. Right. So, at that point he says, do be careful though. I've lost several rats up there. I mean, well, they're just rats, but still, careful.
We'll take a look. If it's too dangerous for us, we'll come back and let you know.
As he's saying that, he finally shimmies himself up into kind of like a full standing position and gets his weight underneath him. And you see like he's rotund, but he's also just lazy. He's big. He is sturdy enough to maneuver and move around on his own. He's just a big guy, so it's like this. He's being lazier than he needs, type of thing, you know. So he actually like gets up and he stands up and he says, "Oh, all right. Well, good luck to you."
All right. Well,
And he kind of like shimmies off to the side, like he's assuming you guys are done with the conversation. So he shimmies off to the side as if he's going somewhere in this room to do something.
so
No.
we can
I'm
move.
done with.
Well, should we go take a look at what this is?
Oh, and he calls out behind you. Ah, close the door if you don't mind. Rats are terrible about it.
I imagine the rats are terrible about cleansing the door.
Is
No,
there
that
like a
seems
rope
way
on the
for me.
door that he makes the rats close it with? or-
It doesn't seem like it.
So he just like every 2 days he has to get up and go close the door.
He has to get up and go close the door. You imagine it might be Sylvia's job to close the door more frequently than him? Alright. So do you guys close the door behind you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Door closes behind you. Alright, fantastic. So now what is your plan?
Well, he seems pretty nice.
To go and check out the other door,
Are you actually going to?
as opposed to not.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So far, 2 of 2 were people have seemed pretty chill to me.
Ezra would mutter that I'm still pretty stank. So it is. It is a tougher situation. I'm not going to be able to help a whole lot.
No, he said it just killed some rats. I mean,
I would like to think that we're stronger than rats.
Wind's howling.
I mean, it doesn't mean that whatever's killing the rats isn't doing it with ease.
Sure.
well,
Well, then
Then
it'll struggle with
we'll-
us.
we'll retreat hastily.
Okay.
You
I
open the
can
door and see a
literally
purple worm.
Step on the wind.
Alright, so there is a door you find here at the north. What do you want to do? You want to open it? I will say, Bones, your passive perception, 18, you do hear upon the other side, you hear this.
It sure does sound windy over there.
Oh. What's the plan, Stan?
Yeah, fuck that. I opened the door.
Alright. You throw open the door. Upon the other side of the door, you as you open the door, you hear, right, more clearly now, this sudden rush of air, this and beyond you, you see this zigzagging hallway, right? This hall zigs north and south repeatedly, and it kind of thwarts your line of sight. But you can see scattered, not thickly, right? Just scattered here or there, are bones. Just picked clean, lying upon the floor.
What kind of bones, Jeremy?
There is a mix. What you see here most readily looks like the skeleton of giant rats.
Is there
Or
any
skeletons.
evidence of what happened to them? Is there like slime residue on the floor, or like remnants of
Roll me a perception check.
perception?
Perceptionis.
Perceive. Not well.
No, not really. There's nothing of note. There's no like markings on the bones. There's no, as you said, trail of slime. No teeth marks. No. I will say this, right? You can tell pretty well that there's not really. There is some breaking of the bones, right? But there's no like cutting of the bones.
Oh. Interesting. Well, I don't think it was a beast, whatever it is, because it's like they were bludgeoned.
All right, so
Snake.
Bones begins to move forward.
I'll stick to him like glue.
Stick to him like
Snake
glue.
again.
Snake again. So you start to zip back and forth to each of the kind of like crests of the zigzag hallway. This
Snake.
hall seems as though it's like a defense mechanism, right? This is like the opposite of like a murder hall, right? Murder hall being like you have the tunnels where you have wall
living
slits, right? Well, it's like so this is how you would navigate without getting shot at, for whatever reason. So
Is the wind picking up? Is
the wind is this consistent.
Which way is it blowing?
Towards you guys, actually. And hold up, Bones. Assuming that everyone is keeping their same pace, Matashtai and Ezrah.
Storm guide to redirect the wind.
Okay,
Does it make- well,
sure. Let's check. Subtly control the wind around you. Raining, falling, you can end this, okay. If it's windy, you can use a bonus action each round to choose the direction the wind blows in a 100-foot radius centered on you. The wind blows in that direction until the end of your next turn. This feature doesn't alter the speed of the wind. So the wind begins to back the way, and then it begins to kind of like push back on you, right? Like whatever is creating the wind, it seems to be like at odds with what you're doing. Right, because it is a source of wind, and you are just pushing the wind back, so the wind is now like meeting in the middle, which is actually kind of like an interesting effect for your allies, which are just ahead of you, because so now it's not just wind rushing past them; it's wind coming at them from two different sides, and kind of like.
Well, it's a 100-foot radius.
Well,
so I would try to do it past them. If I
Sure, but it's like it's the conflicting stream. It's not like happening directly on top of them, right? But it's also not. You suddenly go up to 100-foot radius. Bye.
Yeah.
It also depends on what the source of the wind is, right?
Mhm.
So, and the reason being is as you guys come close enough to this point, the source of the wind notices you, and the howling rises as this massive tornado of air, solid air, comes swirling around the side, and I need everyone to select their tokens and roll initiative.
Oh, loud.
Oh, Lottie blowing.
As so this is what you guys see coming around the bend.
Yep.
Can I stun air?
I'm sure you can, because Wizards of the
No,
Coast
you
balances
can't.
things wonderfully.
Wow, Jeremy.
Oh goodness. Oh,
I sense some resentment here.
no, it's just dumb. Like I want him to stun the crap out of. I want him to stun the crap out of 50,000 things, as long as it makes sense for them to be stunned by a monk's fist. You know?
I disrupt the chi of the wind.
Oh, is that what happens? All right.
That's right.
So here we go. Up first, we actually have the aerial elemental. Who'd have thought? It's actually fast.
I don't think it would count though. Does an elemental count as a creature?
Yes, it does. So again, this goes back to like me wishing Wizards of the Coast had a little bit more balance. Like I understand, right? Like their 5th edition is supposed to be a more open, organic game. Make rules adjustments as you need to, but you know, we're trying to play by raw for the most part. I say that it's whatever. Anyways, I'm not like miffed about it. It's just am I the only one who thinks it would be dumb to like how would you stun a water elemental?
It's literally why I just asked you, can I do it?
Yeah, well, I get you. We're on the same page. But yes, technically you can. The air elemental is up first, which makes sense because you're walking into its lair. It begins to rush forward, and it moves just crazy fast. It is just a blur of speed. And it basically comes right on top of... Let me check real quick. Yeah, no, it basically comes right on top of all 3 of you. And it envelops Ashes, Matashtai, and Bones in this tornado. And it's gonna use its whirlwind ability, so I need each of you to roll me a DC 13 strength saving throw.
DC what? 13?
DC 13.
Are you kidding me?
Oh man.
Are you kidding me?
I'm strong.
Okay. So on a failure, let's do the on a success real quick. Oh, no, there is no on a success. So if you succeed, you just manage to resist the tornado-like force of the whirlwind. Let me flip over to the actual battle map. Okay, fantastic.
Brave the winds.
So Ashes and Bones, they are both kind of like picked up by this tornado and whirled about and then flung outwards, right? So... As you are whirled about, you take 3d8 plus 2 damage from just hitting each other in the tornado, other objects that are in the tornado of wind itself, right? You both take 10 bludgeoning damage. Okay. And each of you is
uncanny dodge.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. You're able to twist your body in the air of the tornado to whiz as certain items like whiz past you to kind of like mitigate some of the damage that you take. And then you are both hurled 20 feet in a random direction. I need each of you to roll a 1d8. The north position is your 1, and it goes clockwise. Okay.
5.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are flung 20 feet south. You can only go 10 feet, so you hit the wall there. Ashes
is flung into the wall.
You are flung into the wall, basically right there. All right. So you are both flung into the walls, and you are knocked prone. And as you hit the wall, you take Bones. You didn't travel very far, so you only take 1d6. And Ashes, you also only take 1d6. So you both take 3 more bludgeoning damage from hitting the wall.
Yokai.
Okay.
Yokarimashita.
Alright, and then you are both prone. So let me mark you as prone real quick. Not that I think it's going to matter too terribly much. But so, this air elemental just, like, surges into the hallway, envelops you 3, picks up Ashes, picks up Bones, whirls them around, flings them out of it, tosses them into walls. The battle has begun. Matashtai, you are inside of the creature at the moment. What do you want to do?
From within the creature, I draw the Tear of the North and slash through it.
So it's a howling gale as you like draw this one with your eyes. You gotta like squint your eyes because there's little bits of debris. You as it kind of like flew in, you saw it like picked up the bones on the floor, right? So now they're all flying around in there, and you're squinting, and you can't hear shit, right? Everything. All you hear is just the surge of storm in your ears, right? Would you draw your sword? All right. Do it up.
And a slash.
Slash.
No, you don't.
A miss.
You slash, but you just cut air, and it's like nothing happened.
And then I shuriken right up through the whirlwind.
All right, sounds good. That'll hit. 23 will definitely hit. 5 damage. And your unarmed attacks are magical?
Magical.
Magical. Very nice. All right.
And then as I'm falling from the Shoryuken, I'd like to axe kick down through the wind.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's a hit.
Axe kick.
Another 7 damage. Fantastic.
And then I'm going to expend a key point and attempt to stun the wind.
Yeah, stop the wind.
Okay.
Stop it with your soul.
So what's your DC? 14?
Think strength save, con save.
Con save 14. Con save 14.
His divine show of
the air is stunned. Well, thank you, Wizards of the Coast.
I love how unceremoniously you're like,
fuck it. I mean, it's the rules. I'm not gonna fight it. All right. Anything else for your turn?
No, that's the end of my turn.
Fuck yeah! All right,
Goodbye,
Ezra, you're up.
Shit air.
So you see Matashtai in the midst of this creature, right? Perform his flurry of blows, and then the wind does not die, right? Like the tornado does not stop spinning, but it does calm a bit, right? So what do you want to do? I want to get the fuck back. Now, do note,
God.
you do not have line of sight from that position. You have to use your directional arrows. If it goes through a wall, you do not have line of sight.
As I am moving.
Okay, absolutely. Fantastic. 100%. So, like, you get here and you're like, pew pew.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and throw my skeletal hand at the wind. And...
Fuck yeah. So that'll hit a skeletal, a necrotic hand rakes through the air elemental. Cool.
And that'll be my turn.
Fantastic. Bones! You shake your head, right? You just got tossed out of this wind into a wall, knocked to your knees. What do you want to do?
I get up.
Get up.
15 feet of movement. And then
Absolutely.
I'm gonna whip shit at the wind. But also Matt, who's inside of it.
Okay.
At advantage because it's stunned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Storm boomerang. Lightning
Storm
for
boomerang.
lightning. Snake attack.
The lightning, the storm boomerang hits.
Dagger.
Does seem to do damage. The lightning goes off, and as the lightning off, it just feeds into the storm and just starts to swirl around. It doesn't seem like it did anything to it.
That's
Does
fine.
it
It's still
zap Matt?
It does not. I'm not gonna be that rude.
Still the only magical weapon I have.
Still
So
the only
snake
magical
attack.
weapon. Second dagger.
Kind of
1
fucking
piercing damage.
magical.
Oh, nope. Undo. So that was a 54. Fantastic. All right, cool. Anything else for your turn?
I go over here.
Gotcha. Spreading out. Fantastic. Ashes.
Spreading it.
all right, I will pull myself up with a grunt.
Gotcha.
And as I grunt, I cast Ride of the Storm and take only 1 point of damage. This is fucking the update for this Blood Hunter is ridiculous.
You think so?
So now I
Rite
have
of the Storm?
Rite of
You're
the
gonna-
Cold or Rite of the Frozen on
Okay.
my sword.
Right of the frozen. Gotcha.
And whenever the update is for making custom things, I'm gonna have a field day with that. But anyways,
Sure.
I'm gonna look to the wind and I'm gonna.
Yeah, look to the wind.
I
I look to the wind.
I look
That is the most anime thing to say. I look to the wind.
As the
He's
cloak
like pretty
billowing in
stunned.
the breeze. I attack.
He attacks.
13.
13. It does not hit.
All right.
Or at least
then
you don't hit anything that you think actually did anything.
All right. How about
elusive.
that was
Well,
27 will hit.
all right. Here we go. Woo!
Oh, I forgot to mention the air elemental is wearing adamantine armor, so you can't crit it.
All right.
damn.
I mean,
That's
he
so
can't be
legit,
stunned,
man.
he can be
That's
stunned,
awesome.
so
All right.
Can I be an air elemental that
that
wears
is-
armor?
5. I'm assuming if he's without including resistances, 25.
Yeah, so 25 and 25. It does not seem to be resistant to any of the damage that you have done to it. Is that the end of your turn?
Streak my sword through it,
Yeah.
splitting the wind in twain, and then it just recoalesces.
Very nice. Frosty. A couple icicles hit Matashtai.
That'll be in turn.
All right, air elemental is stunned. Matashtai.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna step over here.
Okay.
Do I get advantage? Can I get advantage on him?
You
I don't
can't get
know.
advantage where it's at.
Okay.
Is he still stunned? Is he stunned until the end of your turn? or his turn?
You have advantage
he's still
on
stunned, I
him.
forgot.
Yeah, so it's
I'm
irrelevant.
gonna stay where I am, then.
But you can't get a flanking bonus from the position that he's currently in.
I'm just gonna
Slice
commence
the
the
wind.
slashing from within him.
Gotcha.
Slash.
Slash. 24 definitely hits. Absolutely.
Slash again.
Slash again. 23 definitely hits. Absolutely.
Slash damage. Slash damage.
You need to come up with a cool story for the tier of the North, right? Like that the salesman
He
just like
bought
fed
it.
you some
my
bullshit about it, but you need to like actually come up with like a this is what the story of the tier of the North is going to be.
Jeremy.
Completely
creating the
made up
story.
story. That's
Well, sure. You just not gonna
Not
you're gonna have it
actually true.
not have a history. It didn't exist before me.
Uppercut
Born with a
punch.
light
Uppercut.
dragon,
Uh,
felt great sorrow.
20. That's funny. 20. The wind stops. It's dead.
20. It stops.
No, you did 30 damage. It had 28 left. It had 28 health left. So
Awesome. I killed
so-
it. Shoryuken.
So yeah, Matashtai just like in that moment with the air elemental still stunned, Matashtai begins to slice through with the Tear of the North. Each blow from Ezrah, from Bones, from Ashes, the wind begins to like slowly die down, right, with each blow. And then Matashtai just begins to hack into it, and by the end, you attack. The last hit, like, hits something solid at the center of the air elemental, right? And it just shatters like glass. And the whole thing just rains down, and bones rain down, and bits of stone rain down, and the wind howls for another second or so, and then it kind of dissipates. And the air elemental's dead.
Rest easy.
Oh, that was
Rest easy, spirit of the wind.
that was well done.
Yeah.
I retrieve my
That was-
things.
Everyone can add 500.
Yo, let me get that adamantine armor off of him.
No, there is no adamantine armor. Do not hold me to that. Everyone gets 500 experience though,
Hell yeah.
or the air elemental.
Yeah.
And I think before we go into exploration and see what is in the beyond of this point, let's go ahead and cut to break. I need to take a little bathroom break and get another drink, and we'll come back and we will jump into what's going on here and go from there.
Did you add
Alright.
experience for the fighters for me already?
Yes, I
With
did
the
add
experience?
experience for the spiders. Yep.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back in just a bit. In a second, everybody.
What are y'all at? What are you at?
Hey everybody, we're back from break. Welcome back. We just finished off an air elemental that had been haunting this section of the dungeon. So we fade back into the scene, right? The bones and dust and the explosion of whatever the central mass of this creature was begins to shower down around, clatter to the floor, right? Heartbeats pass, and then you are all left in this kind of like twisty hallway.
Did the wind completely die
The
down?
wind is gone. It's just the sound of like your own kind of like breathing as kind of like the adrenaline fades, right? I imagine like every adventurer is just basically a souped up adrenaline junkie, because every like 5 minutes you're in a dungeon, you're like, oh god, EpiPen! You know, type scenario.
We ain't that rich.
So, anyways,
Y'all see that? I stunned the wind.
That was very impressive.
stunned with the wind.
You knocked the wind out of them.
Alright.
Is it safe, guys?
Yeah, man, come on.
Yeah. Alright, well, should we see what this wind was protecting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so you guys come to this kind of like
Yeah, we
little
coming.
room,
Nut.
and you find in here, the floor here is littered with various pieces of ruined gear, a battered helm, a tattered suit of leather armor, 2 halves of a shattered wooden shield, a rusty longsword, a rotting quiver, several broken arrows, and a longbow with a snapped string, as well as just countless tiny bones shattered. You do see a couple of small, what
Could
seem
be.
to be like coin purses, scattered about the ruined gear. Does anyone wish to collect them?
Yes.
Okay, so Bones takes a few moments to kind of like dart around and grab some of these coin purses. While that is happening, Ashes and Ezra, this wall right here glows faintly, the outline of a secret door.
Wait. Did
Which
we ping
wall?
it?
This
really?
one right here.
Ezra will point at it.
And then, of course,
I would-
everyone does see the doorway, the actual doorway to the north.
As he points, I will go.
Okay. So Ashes goes to investigate the door. Bones, you pick up maybe 4 or 5 different little coin purses. A couple of them a little heavier than others. You find amongst them 700 copper pieces and 30 fucking whatchamacallit?
Electrum.
Electrum pieces.
Sweet. Jacob, I leave that to you.
Okay, so Jake will do the divvy. And then Ashes, you're inspecting this wall. The blessing of the Keeper of Secrets makes you find unerringly the entry, and you see there is basically a small stone panel that you press in, and once you press in, there's a little kind of like a handle for you to pull, and you can pull it, and the whole thing goes, and the whole like wall just does like this swivel thing. And it opens a secret door.
Cool.
Secret door open.
Alright.
And there's a
So
hall
the door
behind it
has
that
been missing
immediately
this
curves
entire
southward.
time.
Yep.
I have no idea where we are in relation to this floor.
Well, I mean, you guys can open your floor 1 map. And,
No, I have. I still have no idea.
well, so, I mean, you guys would be, you see the big kind of like blackened space above the to the northeast of the Grick Snack watch post.
Yeah.
So you guys are in that area. Yeah. And around in here, if people can stream. You know?
Cannot see on the.
Well,
Totally.
yeah, you're not supposed to see on the stream. So, you guys now have the secret passage before you. You have a door to the northeast. Where would you like to go now?
Let's check the mundane door.
Mundane store. All right, fantastic. Okay, so you head over to the mundane door. It does not appear to be locked. As far as using Bones' method, right, the passive perception, it does not appear to be locked or trapped. And you hear nothing coming from the other side.
Okay. Where do you guys want? Which way you want to go, boys? 7 is 25.
I'm not too particular about which way we go.
All right, we go this way. Open.
Gotcha.
Open.
All right, door open. And open. Okay, so you open the door and you see a hallway leading south, southeast, a doorway across the way from you, and a hall up some stairs leading northward. Where to
Okay.
now? You hear nothing on the air. There's no sound echoing from anywhere. There is the air here is kind of cold. It's a little chill. The air is a little stale, but not unbreathable.
We got a
north.
door over here.
Yep. So you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
pop
north
up
is
the
the way.
short set of steps to the north, and then there is a door far to the west. So you guys head that direction.
Yes, sir.
All right.
With the quickness.
With the quickness. So you guys come to this doorway. Again, using Bones' passive perception, you see no sign of traps, locks, or other sounds.
I open it then.
Okay. All right. Push the door open. All right. Beyond, you see, or as you enter into this room, right? The difference in atmosphere here is striking. You've spent quite a bit of time exploring the ancient dwarven ruins here in both the first level and the second level now. But this room that you find yourself in has every single portion of the wall carved floor to ceiling with a fresco of what appears to be a cavern wall, to the point to where there's enough depth and shading in this immense fresco that the whole room feels like you've just walked from a hallway and into an open kind of cavern, right? The skill that it had to have taken to do this is uncanny. It is kind of mind-boggling. It's like one of those like 3D pieces of sidewalk art that is just like super naturally like convincing. You're like, oh shit, you guys have just walked into that as a room. And kind of interspersed around the room, right? You see the remnants of fine furniture, basically. It's all weathered, it's all rotted, right? Just with time, it's been so long, but there are the remnants of chairs and couches here. Many of them have portions that are stonework, right? Like the bases of them are stonework, but you can see like there was woodwork and then like cushionings or things like that, like pretty opulent stuff as far as like dwarven society is concerned. But there are a bunch of like very lounge-like pieces of furniture, or at least the remnants of these pieces of furniture, dotting around this cavern, quote unquote. And then you can see far to the back, right, a little hallway continues forward.
All right,
This
check
place
it out.
is weird.
This place is amazing.
Just how can it go from dank dungeon to opulent
Cavern,
artsy bullshit?
right? Yeah.
Well,
so
I guess
quickly.
not a lot of people come this way.
You guys
Taking
filter
tomorrow
into
to
the
come.
We'll
room
have to
and
spend
begin to
half
take a
our
look at
life in here
things.
to do this.
Probably more.
Right? Okay, so you guys do come to this little hallway, and you kind of peek down and around, and you find that it just lets down to a smaller room that has a little bit of a depression, right? There's a little bit of a ledge that you step down off of
I have
as
a
you
little bit
curve
of
around.
pressure, too.
Don't we all? Right? And so the southern half of this room contains a sunken basin with a drain at the west end and a stone drain plug nearby. There's a heavy copper spigot that sticks out of the south wall of the basin. And the cavern fresco motif continues all around here. So you actually see the where the copper spigot is out is actually this kind of like carved up portion of a stalagmite, right? Quote unquote stalagmite. That it looks like it belongs here, except it absolutely doesn't, right? So this looks to be like a bathing room.
A shower?
Well, it's a little more opulent than that. It's kind of got a very deep trough, to the point to where like you could plug up this basin and fill it to be a big bath.
Gotcha.
We should
So
do
is
that.
there anything else that looks like it's not carved into the wall, or
Doesn't look like
Like,
it.
is there-
No.
You guys want to take a big bath?
I mean, there's the copper spigot, but that's about it.
Like a
is
group-
there is there
like
a
group bath?
valve?
Yeah,
or
it's actually got like one of the like quintessential like turn valves on the top of it.
Oh,
Yeah, let's take a bath. I shout back to Ezra, Ezra, we're taking a bath! And I go in, I start plugging it.
So you walk over to like the stone plug, and it's big, right? So you actually have to. It's got a little chain on it. You have to do this whole like kind of like stand over it. You kind of just like tug it. Oh, it's super heavy. So you have to like and drop it
You
into
got
the
it?
hole.
Once I struggle, I look at Ashes and be like, and then I look back at it, and I look at Ashes, and I look back at it.
I'll walk over and I'll grab it by one hand and move it over.
I mean, it's still very heavy, right? But yeah, Ash
Well,
is being
that's
significantly
flying off the wall like I'm
stronger.
straining.
Yeah, sure.
I turn on the spigot, and then I get out the way because it's probably gonna be cold at first.
So as soon as you turn on the spigot, right, you hear this kind of like groaning, this, and then you hear kind of like this distant this,
Blood comes out.
That's why.
and then
well,
so
it
you
works
like
the same,
step out of the
I'm
way,
out
right? You're up out of the basin, and then this spigot from this water goes, water just begins to pour
Clean
out,
water?
and you can see immediately it hits the cold stone, and a soft fog begins to rise. The water's warm.
Hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah! I start taking clothes off. I doff. I'm doffing.
Bones is just
Doffing.
stripping. He's going
Guys,
full cat mode.
we could, take baths back at the manor and not, do it in the
But
dungeon.
what if it's
No.
a magical bath? I start taking my clothes off.
Super secret, amazing cavern carved bath. I don't have an
Another
amazing
blessing
cavern
for
carved
doing
bath at
this.
home. I don't care about a blessing. This is awesome.
Okay, so it does. I mean, it is a single spigot trying to fill up a very large basin, right? I say it's spigot. It's not like a single spigot. It's a big, open copper piece, right? So it takes some time, but it's going at a good rate. Like within a few minutes, there's maybe like 3 or 4 inches of water in the whole basin, so you can kind of like start to dip your feet in, and it's not hot. It's just nice and warm. It's kind of got that almost I don't know, just like you're relaxing in a tub style scenario. Not like you're in a hot springs and you're gonna need to get out because eventually you'll have heat stroke style shit.
Pass out.
Yeah, but more just like the, oh, this is nice warm water. I could sit in here for a while. You do see, right, now that you guys are actually like taking stock of things, there are some little slits in the basin up to a certain point, up to about the the 2.5 to 3 foot point in the basin.
Why did that music just start?
For water to pour out. What?
Does anyone else hear that music?
That's the floor. That's one of the floor 1 musics.
Well, it's ominous for this situation.
Yeah, it's always ominous.
Ominous.
You're taking a bath in the dungeon. It should be ominous.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay,
Ezra will go and close that door.
Okay, so Ezra heads over, closes the door.
Look, I'll compromise with you. I'll keep the knife belt kind of close.
Okay, knife belt
But I'm
at the ready.
still necked up.
All right, Bones is naked, and pretty soon in the water and enjoying himself a nice bath.
I also get naked and hop in.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
we in it.
Hashtag gets in. So you guys do one thing that you do go through, right, is you go through the kind of concept of like it's warm water, but the stone itself is just inherently, it has this deep, unabiding cold, and it'll need to have warm water on it for a long time before that cold goes away.
It'll warm up. It's fine.
So you do the like, like it touches the small of your back, and you're like, oh god, that's cold. Oh god, ooh, type thing. But I mean, you relax, you take a bath.
Oh yeah, bathing. Ooh yeah. Oh, we're in it now.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's tough.
Oh my god.
Ashes, Ezra.
Yeah, I'll get in.
Okay. Are you disrobing to get in?
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you-
not gonna.
You're doffing the armor. Gotcha. Okay.
My chance to crit him.
Yeah, absolutely, my chance to crit him. Well, the other thing is it does take a while to take your armor
10
off.
minutes
Yeah.
or some shit.
Straps and
Yeah, there's a whole shit ton of straps. Like Bones and Ashes are in the water for like 5 minutes before you're even like half considering getting. Or yeah. Bones and Matt are in the water before you even have a chance to consider it. You know, Ezra, are you staying out?
Come on, bring your little skeleton hands in here. Look, it'll do your old bones
just
some
wanna
good.
Go topside and get.
No, it'll bring your bones some good. I'm gonna come out there. I'm bring my naked cat body if you don't come.
Come get you.
Ezra will take his pack off, but he will wear his robes as he.
Oh,
Okay,
you're
well,
gonna wear the
be
robes
uncomfortable later.
Okay.
I mean, I can just prestidigitate dry.
It'll be like
Damn,
he'll get out
Robbie.
like 5 minutes before you guys and prestidigitate himself all dry.
You just
Ezra,
hear
are
a hair
you-
dryer in the background.
what I've heard is called a never nude.
I get nude. Just I'm not comfortable in this dungeon.
That's fair. So
Sure.
you guys take how long do you want to spend here enjoying this unexpected
I don't know. It takes Ash's fucking
Piece
10
of
minutes
civility.
to doff,
Yeah,
so-
because I'm gonna have to don everything back again. So
Yeah,
I don't know, like an hour all inclusive.
I
sure.
think it's quicker to don than it is to doff.
So,
I think it's
I mean,
fine.
in theory, you guys could basically use this as a short rest, right? You could take a short rest while you're bathing, that type of thing. Spend your time,
Yeah, sure.
relax, right? Like, you guys might take turns, get in and out of the basin or the water, or etc., right? Maybe it does get a little too hot for you. You could even go so far as like repurposing some of the decaying furniture. Now that you're like realizing that this is basically like a little bathing house, right? That the next door is basically for people to just lounge comfortably and socialize. You guys could
yeah, that tracks.
try to use some sort of the remnants or something like that for whatever you want to do. But as you do that, tension pool does tick up.
Tension.
As the pool fills up, so does the tension pool.
So does the tension. Yep.
Doesn't matter. Fucking, we're having a hot tub.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
guys.
hot
This is the
tub.
hot springs episode. We didn't even know it.
I don't think
pretty
I've
awesome.
ever been.
I really just want to get topside.
This
Look,
is
So-
it's fine.
So you guys spend a little bit of time. There is no
Sleep down here too, and we can just keep continuing in the dungeon.
there is no sudden
Ezra's
magical.
gonna just fucking leave you guys.
Bitch if you don't.
There is no sort of magical blessing or anything.
Yeah,
that
whatever,
you
didn't matter.
gain
It's
from
still
this.
cool.
It's just an interesting portion of the dungeon that you may or may not have expected to find or even exist. This hidden bathhouse. So, an hour goes by. You guys end up getting out, drying off, donning your clothing and armor again.
Time to strap on again.
So
Strap up.
now, what would you like to do?
Yo, should we leave it running, boys, or should we stop it? I don't know how water works here. Is it infinite?
I
So
don't know how water works.
So at this point, right? Definitely.
Yeah, I'll turn it off
here.
and I'll take the cork out. And
Okay. I was gonna say definitely at this point you've seen the water flows back into a couple of notches so that it doesn't overflow the room, right, or overflow the basin. But it doesn't cut off. It doesn't through the hour that you're there. It doesn't seem to show signs of stopping, and the water stays warm the whole time.
That's nice. That's real nice.
But
Yeah.
Ashes turns the water off, takes the plug out. The water drains or begins to drain as you guys are getting out and drying off and everything.
Ezra has dried himself off.
So
1 square inch at a time.
yeah.
1 square foot at a time.
Sorry, 1 square foot at a time. My bad.
So, what do you guys want to do now?
would we like to go? Tell
Let's
our new
go into
friend
the
that
other
is-
door.
Oh yeah, we got another door.
Okay.
Alright, I got a couple more doors left.
You guys head back, throw open the door, head back to the other doors that you had found. So there's
we're
one
all
here, and
cursed.
then there's one to the south as well.
Whatever. I'll just roll a new character if I'm cursed.
So you find, again, defaulting to Bones' passive perception, no lock, no trap, no sounds on the other side.
Nice. We open that bitch.
One is... okay. So you open this door. So you open this door and you see inside a large room carved into the walls 2 feet off of the floor, right? All around the room are 11 bare stone shelves. Each shelf is about 7 feet long and 3 feet deep with an arched ceiling of about 4 feet over it.
Carved into the walls. And
Carved
there's
into the
nothing on any of them.
Yeah.
Weird.
The door
Nothing.
still there, technically.
Say what?
Door still there.
Is the door still there?
Yeah. I mean, we can walk through it, but
Yeah, no, I opened the door. What do you
Is
mean
there
the
like
door's still there?
dust on the shelves? Like stuff used to be there? Or
Oh, I mean, yeah, there's dust everywhere. Sure. Roll an intelligence check for me.
Oh yeah, I'm real smart, boys. Intelligence check. Yeah.
Okay, this is I mean, this is not a difficult thing to surmise necessarily. It takes you a few moments as you're kind of like looking at it. You're like, what's going on here? Like, there's nothing. And then like the rough shape and size of everything kind of like starts to fit in. These are like, this is a dormitory. These are like bed spaces carved into the wall. Like each of these spaces is like a space for like someone to lay down, and there's spacing for like where bedrolls or like padding would be to actually like sleep on a bed, but there's also like maybe like smaller little ledges inside the nooks for like storing items or things like that, like putting your belongings. This looks like it would be a dormitory.
Another great place to sleep.
Yet another.
Actually,
What is this place?
Hey guys, you just want a long rest or?
each shelf
I'm joking,
is 7 feet long and 3 feet deep. So yeah, each one of you could fit onto one of these shelves. Now there is no padding or anything like that on these shelves like there used to be, but you know.
I need padding. I leave.
Okay, so there is another door to the south. Bones' passive perception. No traps. No lock. Nothing on the other side.
Throw it open.
Okay.
I think this is just like a disused Dwarven living chamber area.
So on the other side, you see a very similar layout. However, upon one of the beds is a skeleton draped in cobwebs. It wears it wears kind of like rotted through hide armor, and it looks to be clutching I take that back. It wears hide armor, but it's not rotted through. And it clutches a oak quarterstaff, both of which seem to be in serviceable condition.
That's unusual. We take them.
Okay, so
Don't touch them. Hold up.
Okay, I
hold
don't
up.
touch them.
Don't touch them.
Sorry.
We saw
I
what happened
almost
last
touched
time. Ashes touched something in here.
Ezra, touch them.
With your hand.
With your mage hand. What the fuck? All right, if Ezra refuses to, I get the 2 10-foot poles out. Use them as big chopsticks.
Is that what actually happens, or is Ezra gonna
Big fucking
use his mage hand?
Where is the bed?
Oh my
it's
God.
it's in one of the northern alcoves. You can reach it from where you're at.
Okay.
Okay. Mage hand flies over almost as soon as the mage hand begins to fiddle with the armor or the staff. Right, the skeleton itself kind of like portions of it crumble. Right, it was in this kind of like held position where it was kind of like clutching the staff, laying there. Right. But as soon as like any movement happens to the skeleton, the whole thing just kind of like goes rickety and starts falling apart. You are able to float the staff over pretty easily, and after a few moments, right, it takes you a little bit longer to like get bone chunks out of the space of the armor, because the armor is literally being worn by the skeleton, so you kind of gotta fish.
Just, like, shaking
Yeah,
it.
you gotta kind of like fit. Well, you have to like fish bigger chunks out, because lifting the armor and the skeleton that's still attached to it is too heavy for the mage hand. So you kind of gotta like pull some of the shattered pieces out, and then you can kind of like float the mage armor or the hide armor. So there's a looks like serviceable hide armor and an oak staff.
I hand those to Bones.
Mage hand floats them over towards you.
The bag.
Bag. Okay.
I let you place them inside.
You can mark those as hide armor and oak staff from room 34.
Okay. Hide armor 34. Oak staff 34. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We did it, boys.
Gotcha.
Anything else weird going on here?
Not really.
Nothing. I leave. I shut the door.
Door shuts.
Secret time.
All right, so you go back to the air elemental's room, and you stare at the secret entrance at the ready, and then you head in.
Yes.
All right, the hall almost immediately curves to the south, and then curves back eastward. And Ashes,
I look around the...
as you turn around the corner, you see the faint glowing outline of another
portal.
of another secret door.
Oh shit! All right.
So
I would like to interact with the thing that is required to interact with the door.
and this one, you can see right when you're on the right side of a secret door.
Oh, is it just?
They seem very obvious, right? They all have like little switches or little buttons that are just kind of out in the open. You seem right now to be on the right side of the secret door. So this is not the hidden side of the secret door. This is assumed that if you're on this side of the secret door, you already know what's up. So there's just a little switch there.
He says, "Hold up."
So you flip it?
I flip it.
Flip it. Right. Where's my last player? I'm missing a player. Where's my last character?
I think they're on top of each other.
Oh, who's on top of each other? Someone's on top. Oh, okay. All right. The door opens.
Matthew.
You were under me. Don't blame me.
Okay.
I was
And
there first.
before anyone starts moving, and everything, you
Oh.
see immediately.
Where the fuck is this?
We've been here before.
You
have?
see cobweb-covered statues of dwarf lords standing atop 2-foot-high pedestals in this space, right? As this kind of like happens, right? The door it kind of like swings open, right? You see almost immediately, like peeking around the corner, you see this like giant ratty face, and it goes and it turns and it squeaks and runs the other direction.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. We know where
Felicia.
he's going.
So, I mean, do you guys give chase, or do you just let the thing run, or what?
I mean, was it aware?
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Absolutely, it was aware.
As it starts to run away, I'll shout, let me see, what was it? Sylvia, wait! Flindall sent us!
Sylvia.
A few moments pass, right? See that kind of that ratty face kind of like peek around the corner again, like sniffing.
Right.
And then you watch, right, as this creature transforms before your eyes.
Right.
Into the hybrid form.
We've met in more terse terms.
So Sylvia kind of nods, and Sylvia, unlike Flindle, is a lithe, athletically built were or human or individual, right? She is agile and at the ready, and her whole body is kind of like tensed, like as she's transforming, she's keeping her options open, like she's ready to run if need be. But she goes through like her transformation, and she listens to you, right? And she's, yeah. Last time you tried to tackle me.
Right. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were
About that.
per se.
She narrows her eyes as you say that, and she says, "Are you just in the habit of running around and tackling giant rats?"
And goblins and bugbears and it's a bad habit.
So she looks from you to like your companions, and she's just like, "The strange one."
I approach her. It's like,
So that-
yeah, he sure is.
So you approach her, and she like puts her hands up, and she backs away. She says, "Oh, hold."
All right, then I back up then. Back up. My bad.
Don't touch me.
Flindall sent us to look at the problems you guys were having up north. It was an air elemental. We took care of it.
Nods, and she says, "Yeah, that makes sense. Took care of it."
It's destroyed.
Kind of says, "A little scary." Lindell's blabbing his mouth, I see.
Yeah. We were doing this in hope that he might flap it a little bit more.
You see her kind of like involuntarily, like she's got her guard up, but you see her involuntarily like roll her eyes, right at that, and she says, "One of these days, he'll say the wrong thing to the wrong person."
Look, honestly, we're just trying to find out more about a sorcerer that goes by the name of what?
Rigmarole.
Resriel? I didn't get a spelling on it, so
And like
whatever I
narrows
wrote
her
probably
eyes and she
wrong.
says, "It's his Rizaril, I think."
Rizriel.
Yeah.
Right. He's supposed to be a sorcerer that works out of floor 2.
Well, it's a recent development, I think. He's... Well, I'm not sure. I believe he's working with Zentarum. That's the issue, you see.
Oh, really?
Yes. Why are you looking for him?
It's just part of another job we're doing. He's in possession of something that someone else is looking for.
Another job you're doing, someone else, something. Very specific.
I mean, you were just talking about how it's bad to flap all the information you know, right? So,
I said Flindle was flapping his lips. I didn't say it was necessarily a bad thing to share information. As long as people can be trusted, as long as their motivations are good.
I promise you our motivations are just being prepared for what's coming down the next floor.
So she says, "Yeah, that's fair. What's Flindle offering you?"
Not a whole lot. About 20 gold total, and maybe some more information and a good word in Skullport.
You see her kind of like think for a second. She says, "I'll give you 50 gold if you walk out of here and say nothing to him."
I looked to my allies.
We don't really need the money.
She kind of shrugs and she says, "Fair enough."
But why? Just out of curiosity.
Because he's an idiot, and he'll sit on his ass for another 5 days, investigating, scavenging, whereas I can find whatever there is to find in here for 5 hours tops. Search the whole place, bottom to top. Not miss anything, unlike him and his pests.
Then why are you still here?
Unfortunately, I'm not high enough on the rung to be making my own positioning choices just yet. Which, if we ever manage to report back with any of our findings, will likely change.
We?
Lindol and I, who were sent out together.
Hard times.
So you want him to leave then, or?
I just want him out of my way so I can finish the job here and we can go back to Skullport. It's pointless. He's lazy. He takes his sweet time doing absolutely anything.
Well, if we report back to him, he's bound to head back to Skullport anyways.
You report back to him. I assume you found rooms up there, right?
Yeah.
You report back to him, and he's going to need to investigate and search everything. And 5 days from now, we might start crawling our way back. But he'll need to stop here and there. And, oh, we should go visit so-and-so.
Ezra's gonna start stepping forward.
I'll be
So
back
what
in
you say-
Skullport in a month.
How about this? If we don't tell him, you give us the 50 gold and you put in a good word for us in Skullport.
Kind of like narrows
looking
her
to be
eyes and she
friends.
says,
We will eventually be making our way down there and could use some friends. And if he isn't as useful as you've made it sound that he might not be, perhaps we could make an alliance and I'll scratch behind your ears if you scratch behind mine.
she kind of crosses her arms and she says, well, the
Perfect.
extra gold was covering the scratching.
Well, we're kind of scratching yours first, though, aren't we? By expediting your departure.
Fair warning. The only thing back there is a very lavish bathhouse
She kind of sniffs and she
that he'll
says,
probably make good use out
that
of.
Glendale will probably
Oh,
want
God.
to spend.
she
And-
sniffs.
and we
Lot
might
of time, man.
we might go into elaborate detail on how to use it and
She sniffs and she says, she says, there are always things people like humans. Too quick.
Fair enough.
But that being said, my time is worth more than this. 40 gold and a good word.
I'm good with that, guys.
Yeah, whatever.
I can live with it.
Okay. All right.
Like we have an agreement.
So
we have an accord.
So Sylvia kind of like she walks forward, right? Again, still kind of cautiously, but she walks forward towards Ezra, who seems to have like kind of commandeered the conversation, and she reaches her hand out. She kind of like spits in her palm and reaches her hand out towards Ezra.
Oh boy.
Spit in that
How does
hand.
that work? Are you gonna immediately be infected because you don't have anything protecting you?
I don't.
And no
It's,
Yeah, suddenly the wear stuff is in your bones.
I don't think
She doesn't
it's
see
past-
his hands yet, by the way. Because I'm assuming Ezra's not just like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know,
Hello,
right?
you
I'm
baby.
assuming Ezra's
Hello.
like, you know, a
I
little
have
like
bony hands.
quiet with his hands,
Yeah.
like, you know, like
Yeah.
either in sleeves or just
Yeah.
like out of sight type thing. So like,
He mutters under his breath, "Oh boy." Sighs, pulls one of his hands out of his sleeve, and
so her eyes kind of like widen
Almost
as
tough
you
to be a
pull
person.
out
In
these
between
bone
fingers.
hands, and she like immediately like instinctually flinches back a little bit, but you go through this like.
You go through the
And
bro,
she-
you're a
Then
rat.
she like you realize like she's looking at you just like
I stick my hand out there to shake.
We've been through some things.
she takes your hand and very like gingerly cautiously like shakes it, just like gives it the one pump and then is just like done, like
And then I immediately press it to take my hand to clean it off.
you know, she wipes hers off on like the
Bro,
side of
you
her
just made
tunic.
a were rat wipe their hand clean.
Yeah.
And she so she then like reaches into her tunic, like pulls out a two smaller pouches of coin and hands them over to you. Each one has, you can take a quick glance at it, each one has 20 gold in it.
Cool.
I had my tab.
And then she kind of like backs out of your way, and she says, she kind of like makes this motion like she kind of like wants to get past you so she can see what's going on. She says, "Is there anything else dangerous you saw up there?"
Nah,
Dangerous? No.
unless you know.
The elemental was
value
the only
comfort.
aggressor out there.
There's a skeleton in one of the beds.
Well, not anymore.
Bits of a skeleton.
She
Bits
nods.
of a skeleton.
Right, and then she makes the motion like she would like to head that way, so she kind of like waves past herself, right? Like, you're free to go, you know?
I redistribute 10 gold to each of the individuals at some point in.
I
So
add 10 gold.
As you guys kind of like walk
gold.
downwards, she will begin to walk past you and disappear out of sight. But as you guys like walk further into this hall, you
No, we have
see
not been here.
there are there are more of these dwarf lords, these cobweb covered dwarf lords standing atop these 2-foot high pedestals in all of these different alcoves, and each one is this intricately carved different individual, right? Just more bits of dwarven history. And then there's a door on the far western side.
Let us go to the door.
No trap, no lock.
Hey, Ashes,
No
are you
sounds.
okay with that? Aren't you supposed to, I don't know, hunt them?
It's just. I'll kind of look back at Matt. I'm trying something new.
Whoa!
Whoa.
I mean, is that the case, right? Like, I mean, we can
Going
stop
against your
stop and have
tenants?
a moment, right? Like, is Ashes?
Well,
do
I
you just
actually
hunt
try to set that under
everywhere?
my- Do what?
Do you just hunt every lycanthrope?
Yeah, you just kill them all?
Kill them all.
All right, so I will say
Yes.
that Ashes usually in the forest, or at least in places where he's been, he's not really run across civil lichens outside the order. So,
But this is the big city.
yeah.
Well.
So it is a little odd seeing other wares that are outside of the order of the sharp teeth that are like, not raving mad and trying to devour.
Yeah,
everything.
the purview of the order is absolutely kind of like that, more in the wilds, like in the villages and hamlets and things like that. Like, absolutely. So this is, you're kind of having a fish out of water moment. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I like this.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, door.
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 It opens, and you're on the
Yatta.
other side of that other door. And right here is Flindle's door.
Yeah, we just walk past.
Yeah, you just walk past?
Yeah.
All right. No double crossing Sylvia?
At this point, I think we're good to just.
Are you guys good to fast travel?
Are we going
No
topside?
betrayals. Yeah, I'm good to leave.
Fast travel topside? All right.
Yeah, I think we got everything we needed.
Fast travel
Please.
topside. You guys don't move. I'm gonna grab all of yous. And we are going to zoomies
Unless Ezra really wants to go, then I think we should stay.
all the way up here.
In fact, I think we should go back to floor 2.
Let's go back to floor 2. All right, fantastic. So, tension pool does tick up as you guys fast travel, and then we make our way up the floor, or up to the Yawning Portal. Everyone subtract 1 gold for your fee for going back up the well to the Yawning Portal. And
It has
actually
begun.
move ourselves over to the Yawning Portal. I'm actually going to put on the battle map real quick for a little bit. We can see some of the wonderful stuff is written here. Okay. As I might have to make a pay. I don't have a scene for this. Unfortunate. I don't have a scene that is just no cameras or anything like that, so I can't show. I guess this scene is no cameras on the actual thing, so we'll use that. Can't really read things though. But anyways, so you guys make your way up.
Any of those?
Well, it's whatever. I'm not super fucked up about it, but I think it's fun. You know.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of bad shit on here.
Yeah, I don't think I put anything on there that's like.
No,
Yeah.
it's all safe.
It's whatever.
It's kid
I tried to
friendly.
keep it PG-13.
PG-13.
I think that's a fair assessment. It's not great.
Oh,
so
does
we've been
anyone
down
see
there
the
like,
newest
what,
edition?
75 hours?
Yeah, I added something new.
I immediately see the newest edition.
I am bad at this.
Is
I'm
it
awful
says
at this.
Ave Maria?
Ave Maria.
That was actually last week.
Oh, was that last
Not the
week's?
song.
Oh,
That's
crap.
not the song at all. Is it Geralt of Rivia?
No,
No, it's been there for a while.
No, that one's been there
that
for
was
a bit.
like the first one I did.
Okay, I
Is
gotta
it
look
the
now.
boyfriend?
It's not. I don't.
Alright, I don't care. I leave.
This one's probably gonna be kind of hard to find. Not gonna lie.
I don't.
I feel like
Well-
I have to now.
Well, you can do it not when we're streaming.
Well, you guys go ahead. Tell me what you're doing.
What time of day
I
is
go.
it
We
at
go
this point?
find Obaya.
It is early to mid afternoon.
Nice,
Is
we found
Obaya
Obaya.
in the bar?
Yes, Obaya is almost always in the bar.
Nice. We show her all our shit.
Did we find anything to identify?
Is it the I'ma tap this so hard?
It sure is.
Okay.
Where is that? What number is that?
It's the guy
it's
carrying
right
the
here.
girl.
I'm because it's I'ma tap this.
It's,
Yep,
okay.
absolutely. Hell yeah! All right, awesome. So you guys go to
All right, do we
find
get anything?
Obaya.
We got fucking hide armor and oak
I've
staff.
got the glass wand.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I
Glass
forgot
wand
about one.
is
I have a
non-magical.
I have 7 blank spell books and 3 of Calabash's journals.
Okay.
Well,
None
if
of
they're blank, they're not going to have value.
none of the blank spell books. They do have value. Let me double
Not
check.
for because her pricing is based off of spells in the books.
Yes.
And Ezra would ask that at least one of the tomes, if not 2 of them, we keep.
Sure. Fair enough. That
Of the
being
blank one.
said,
We obviously want to keep the Calabash ones.
Obaya is not super interested in the tomes. She will buy them from you guys if you guys wish to sell them. She will buy them at 10 gold pieces per book.
I'd say at that rate, let's just keep them. We might have use for them.
Okay. And the
Personally-
journals she has no interest in.
Yeah.
So what else was there? The hide armor, oak staff.
Oak staff.
Neither of those are magical either. Which I'm gonna throw this out there. Should seem odd to you guys because
Yeah.
the
that's odd
amount of
shit to me.
decay that skeleton would have had to have gone through should mean that whatever it was wearing would also have decayed. But these things seem fine.
Something
gonna
killed it, instantly turning into a skeleton, who vaporized its skin.
I'm going to show her my hands.
Help!
So Obaya does this whole like, oh, Ezra, that is that's what happened?
That's an ooh.
That's
Yeah.
a doozy.
Yeah. I fiddled with something.
He
I
tried to play
probably
piano.
Matt shakes his head and says,
She-
"That's not very nice, there, Bones."
I think Obaya though kind of like chuckles and
I
she
get a
says,
drink.
Ezra, I think maybe you should avoid playing piano in the future.
should've- Yeah, I learned that lesson.
Damn, Obayo's Latino now.
I'm just bad
No,
at
she turned
accents.
into Miss Cleo.
No, I'm just bad at accents. You guys know this. Like, Fuck. Like, just roll
Yeah.
with it. Jesus
Back off
Christ. Like, holy fuck. She says,
Is there something you can do about it? I was blasted by a decaying force that knocked me on my butt, and Matt helped me get back up, and I had these.
Sure. She will say, what does she have? She will say, I can try something, but I do not know if it will work.
Okay, what is this something, and how much is it going to cost?
It is. Let me check the rate of spells.
Out of curiosity, Ezra, is money really an option at this point? Like,
Option or problem?
I were sorry,
An
priority.
issue.
I'd pay anything to get that back.
I mean, I want to know. I don't
I'm
like to
sitting on
just...
a good chunk of change.
I wanna know.
Well,
I had established this earlier. Let me
I think
check.
it was like
Sorry, I
25
think there's
gold or
actually a
spell level
chart
or
for
something like
this.
that. You can always go to those people that.
I mean, I've got pinned her selling prices or her buying
No,
prices.
it's not
but
it's not the
it's a
same
different
stuff.
symbol. Yeah.
We can always go to those people that did gender reassignment on Jay.
The
what?
yeah, the NPC who did
Gender
the curse
reassignment
removal.
surgery.
Oh,
Trans right.
okay.
What? I believe, Jake. I don't know why you're laughing.
Thing that I am looking for.
It's gonna cost me 30 Electrum pieces sold.
It's like, what's the conversion of Electrum to gold again? 1.5 or something?
Two Electrum is a gold. It's 5 silver per Electrum piece.
Okay.
It is 50 gold. It is a second level. She's offering to try to cast lesser restoration on you to see if that will do anything. It's
50-5-0.
yeah, it's 50 gold.
I'll pull out
Or-
5 platinum.
Or wait, hold up. It's not 50 gold. Wasn't it 25 for your remove curse?
I
I do
thought
not
it was 25 per spell level, but I don't know.
Well, it's definitely not 25 per spell level because the rate increases the higher you go. But I do think it's 50 gold if I'm remembering correctly. I can't find the chart right now. But
No, I pull out 5 platinum and
Okay.
put it on.
so she will she'll take you off to the side, right where she actually has room to cast and everything like that. And she will go through the process of casting lesser restoration upon you, which unfortunately does not do the work, right? You feel this tingle kind of like in your bones, right? You're kind of, and you kind of like I guess you get like little like flashes as though like portions of your skin are kind of like trying to regrow up your fingertips, but it doesn't take hold fully. And Obaya she apologizes afterwards and she says it looks like it might work. It's just not. I'm just not powerful enough. I would suggest seeking out aid at any of the temples. I'm sure a greater version would probably do the trick.
Ezra,
Thank you for
I
your
got
efforts.
Ezra. I got some friends at the Temple of Kellenvor we could ask.
I would be much appreciative of the assistance, Matt.
Sure.
Yeah, we can head on over there.
All right. Is there anything else that you guys need Obaya to check out for you? Is that it?
I don't think I have anything.
Obaya, just maybe this isn't something you would be privy to, but do you happen to know of anywhere in town that would sell magical scrolls?
Magic scrolls? You can find those. So typically, like, high-end scrolls, you mean, like, with actual inscribed spells on them? So you can find high-end scrolls in, like, the actual, magic shop, right? For sale on auctions or things like that. But typically, if you want, like, low-level scrolls, like level 1s through 3, you basically just find an enchanter or someone like that. Like, you have a mage friend that scribes them for you because they're relatively easy and cheap to scribe depending on your level. So she would say she doesn't know anyone just like off the top of her head, but it shouldn't be difficult to find someone.
Oh, well, Bones, you have a new compatriot, a new partnership you're working on. Maybe some business would help encourage favor between the two of you.
I don't know, maybe.
Or if
Kind of
that
a
doesn't
straight
work
and narrow
out,
type.
if that doesn't work out, Ezra, you are technically a member of the Order of Magus and Protectors, so you could always try to contact that organization to see if you have any pull there.
I mean, I want to help give business to my
Sure,
traveling companion, of course.
As an alternative,
'cause,
yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. All right, so business completed with Obaya. She will bid you adieu. So what is the next item on the agenda? You guys are back topside. You're in Waterdeep. There is a light snow on the ground outside. It is a chilly day. It is it's the 24th or something, I believe. Double check.
22nd.
22nd. Yeah, you're right. 22nd.
Yeah, is it still the day we gave them shitty gifts?
No, that was the 20th.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So it's the 22nd. What's the plan? What do you guys want to do? It is early to mid-afternoon.
I think Matt and Ezra were going to make their way to
Temple of Kellenvor?
Yeah.
I probably still got time to get a full workday in, huh?
You could get you'd be working late into the night, but it wouldn't matter. But yeah, you could do an 8-hour shift on something if you wanted to.
Alright, I'll say, I got something I'd like to work on, so I'm gonna head down to the guild.
Okay, so
Good luck.
Bones will leave and head to the guild. Anything for you, Ashes? Obviously, we're going to go through all of this different stuff, so if you don't have anything right at the moment, that's fine. Just asking.
I'm gonna head to what is it, the Sword and Steel or the
Steam and Steel?
Steam and Steel? Yeah, I want to go hit up Avery and Imbrick.
Ezra would ask for the Calabash's journals.
Oh, yeah.
For your part.
Hand them over.
And
keep your receipts.
would also just ask that if you do plan on selling books, just at least keep one or two for something I've got planned.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay, the party paths diverge. People split up, start heading into all different directions. Let's start off with some Matashtai and Ezra action. So you guys actually make your way, I believe the temple that you're associated with, Matashtai, is actually in the dock ward, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay, because it's not one of the major temples of the city. Kellenvor is worshipped and respected, but he's not. He doesn't have a massive following here.
Yeah.
So it's a smaller temple. I mean, he still has dozens of temples probably around the entire city, but none that are just massive attractions. So you head there, and let me recall, and when I say recall, let me pull up my list of NPCs for your
I can tell you what they are.
buddies.
We got Bryce Bladewater. He's a half-orc. He's pretty old. And then we got Godiva Caskpo. She's also pretty old. They're both old.
He doesn't like your notes, apparently.
Okay, gotcha. You got Bryce and Godiva. Yeah, they were both kind of older individuals. So you head over to the temple. The temple has a number of acolytes, right, that help take care of the grounds. There's no like high priest or big like head honcho or anything like that necessarily. Bryce and Godiva are probably like the two of the higher tiered clergy members here. But they are very much the Celebrites are Celebor is the god of the dead, right? So the Celebrites they help take care of the city's dead. And that's kind of the civic duties that they tend to do. They you can think of them as like what's the profession where you mortician, there we go. They're kind of like morticians ish kind of scenario, right? So you head over to the temple, and who are you trying to find? Bryce or Godiva or either?
I'll probably check for Bryce first because he and I are closer.
Okay, so you head over there and right. Check. So you head over to the temple and you find it in relatively calm order. There are probably a handful of acolytes here that are basically shoveling snow is what it amounts to. And within the temple you will find Bryce, who kind of greets you warmly, right? This old, scarred up half-orc man, right? Kind of grunts and asks after you, like, how have you been? What have you been up to? He hasn't seen you in a while, you know?
Well, I been trying to make a name for myself down in the dungeon. This here actually is a traveling companion of mine. His name's Ezrah.
Hi.
Greets you, kind of grunts. He doesn't speak a whole lot, right? He speaks, but he's more like he is a man of few words.
And well, honestly, we're looking to see if maybe you or Godiva or someone could help him out. Seems to come afoul of a pretty nasty curse here. Ezra, why don't you show him what you're dealing with?
I slowly pull out my hands and kind of awkwardly wave.
Kind of like he kind of like raises his eyebrows, right, and like nods at you and says, kind of like in a very coarse, gruff tone, he just says, "That's bad."
Is it really? I didn't. Should I be worried? Because I'm kind of worried, and
Does it hurt?
Oh boy, no. It kind of tinkles a little bit every once
Less
in a while.
bad.
So I should worry. I shouldn't worry. I don't. You're kind of giving me mixed messages here. I'm not really sure how to.
Matt just goes.
He goes, "Hag,
talkative today, huh?"
I'm sorry.
Hag,
No.
Lich,
Piano.
Musical
White."
instrument.
Kind of like narrows his eyes at you, like he looks at you like. He looks at you, and then he looks at Matashtai, and then he looks back at you, and you realize for a brief moment it's like he's trying to figure out if you're fucking with him or not. Right? And then he goes, right. Musical instrument.
A giant harpsichord of sorts that I tried to play, and it didn't like that so much.
Hold up a minute. I didn't think about this potential interaction. Let's go check this.
Uh-oh. Worried.
Take it back. He just kind of like nods and he says, "Sounds odd."
My thoughts exactly. Can you help?
He kind of like waves you over, and he's got a little it's less of an altar and more of like a lectern, right? A podium from which the clergy kind of like stands and priest and kind of like waves you over, and he has you put your hands on it, right? And he kind of like he actually walks away and he comes back for a moment, and he comes back with like some forceps, right? Because he's not touching your hands himself, so he actually like comes back with some forceps and like picks up your hands and like gets in real close and like looks at them and like sniffs them, and you know.
We have a cleric friend that frequents the yawning portal named Abaya. We tried to see if she could help with this, and she tried something. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. But she said a greater version, something about a restoration. She thought might be able to.
He kind of grunts at you, right? Like he's listening, but he's not listening, as he kind of like examines your hands, right? And he goes, He looks at you and says, "Is bad."
You keep saying that, and can you help, please?
Can't help. Expensive.
It's too bad.
Expensive.
Pulls out a cleaver.
Yeah, it'll only cost you your nubs. No, he says, basically, he says, 500 dragons need diamond.
Matt reaches
have a
into
diamond?
his coin pouch and pulls out 50 platinum.
And
And
like-
he looks over to Ezra. I have no need for money. Let me take care of this for you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He
You
kind
gotta
of
get yourself some books and all your magical mumbo jumbo. Let me handle this.
magical mumbo jump. Oh, let me get off this.
I like how non-magic casters just sit there and talk shit about magic casters.
Magic casters, right? So Bryce kind of grunts and he says, shouldn't get worse if you want to wait.
I mean, I'd rather get it taken care of sooner rather than later. If it's bad, I don't want to keep it. And you keep saying it's bad, and I don't want to keep it.
He looks at you and he says, "Is bad."
You keep saying that.
He looks. He says, "Is bad," and he looks down at his hands and he says, "Because how can you do anything?"
Clickety clack clack click clack.
Can't wield mace.
I don't need to.
Can't hold mop.
Not
Useless.
What?
Useless.
Why is this a reoccurring trend for people calling me useless?
he's just like, Bryce is definitely more of like this worker kind of guy, so he's like, he gets down and dirty with his hands, and so he's like your hands, they're useless, right?
I mean, there are other uses for hands, but I would like them back.
No.
He grunts and he says, "Wait here. We'll get dust." He trudges into one of the back rooms and disappears for a few minutes.
Matt kind of hits Ezra with the back of his hand, just a light like kind of tap, and he goes, "Isn't he great?"
You keep saying it's bad.
Well, I mean, how many times have you seen skeletal hands and been like, "That's good"?
I get it, but like, if he has the ability to fix it, why doesn't he just fix it? We gave him the money already. I
What are you
don't
doing?
understand.
He's
This is
gonna
making
give her the
pretty-
diamond.
The gravity of the situation.
He seemed a little nonchalant for something that was bad.
you just don't understand the Bryce scale yet. Bad is just like one step up from good. Is good. Is bad. Is terrible.
Bad means
Is
bad,
catastrophe.
Ezra. It's bad.
So Bryce comes back after a few minutes, and he's carrying this little pouch. He has you place your hands back upon the lectern.
Ooh, what are you using?
So he will kind of like show you. He opens up the pouch. It is a pouch of diamond dust.
Ooh, shiny.
Oh,
is that like a component to what you're trying to do?
He grunts at you.
Spell.
I'm a little bit of a purveyor of magics as well, so it's interesting to see what other individuals use.
He looks at you and he says, "Then don't play any more pianos."
I think I can come to that accord. Ian.
So he starts to go through the process of casting this spell, and he takes a few moments. He chants some words to God, sprinkles some glitter in the air, right? Divine light blossoms, and you both watch as Ezra's hands kind of regrow over the bones slowly, like a few centimeters at a time, right? Like up over.
That's man.
And so it takes a few moments for the whole process to finish. And then at the end of it, Bryce looks at the hands and he grunts and he goes, "Is less bad."
He still says your hands are shitty.
You got.
They're not calloused.
I imagine Ezra just has like these very like thin, like petite hands, right? He doesn't have like big, half orc ham hands, right? So Bryce is like,
good hands.
Bryce is like, less bad.
Still not great. Less bad.
Yes.
He's built contraptions and that kind of stuff, but they're not like
Yeah. No,
farm
absolutely.
hands.
So Bryce will kind of grunt and he'll say, "Better now."
Thank you. Did you get my joke before? Accordion, it's another musical instrument. It was kind of funny. I was kind of proud of it.
He looks at you and says, "Didn't get it."
Oh, okay, but now you get it. No.
He turns
Okay,
to
well,
Matt and he says, "Good to see you."
Good seeing you too, Brass. How's Godiva doing?
New word. Cantankerous.
That sounds like her. Well, I walk over. I'm assuming they have some sort of donation thing, right?
Yeah, they have a little offering.
I plop in another 100 gold in there,
Wow.
and I say,
Bryce will grunt at you and says, "Much appreciated."
"Yeah, you guys take care of yourself. You ever won't need me. I'm staying over at the Troll Skull Inn, Tavern, whatever it is.
We'll send word.
You take it easy now."
That's Troll Skull Manor. Just so
That one.
you know
That's
where
the
you're
one.
going. As Ezra's walking past, he'll drop another 10 gold into the donation. Thanks again.
Grunts.
As we're kind of leaving, Matt kind of idly conversates with Ezra, and he says, "They're actually the ones that took me in when I crashed near Waterdeep."
He seems pleasant.
Yeah, he's an acquired taste, but they're good people. I mean, they did right by me.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that you found a place while you were lost in a new city.
Lost
Yeah.
in the song.
I like to think that the first time Bryce actually met Matashtai, he thought Matashtai was dead, and he started like preparing his body for like ritual interment, right? And Godiva had to like smack him upside the head and be like, "He's still alive, you idiot!" You know, type shit. And Bryce just like, "Oh, okay."
We should talk to him real quick. I have one other thing that he might be able to help with. And Ezra rushes back into the.
All right, I head back in.
So you head back in and you find Bryce has kind of like already collected your offerings and shuffled them off in back. He's come back out and he seems to be lighting some sort of incense on some of the. There's the little incense holders at the back of the room behind the lectern, and he's lighting some incense that smells of like juniper, right? And he hears you come in and he kind of turns and he grunts and he says,
"Hi,
back
us
so
again.
soon."
Yeah, quick question. Do you happen to know much about undead creatures?
He turns and he says, "It's bad."
Yes. We happen to encounter a floating skull of sorts that has the ability to regenerate itself and spews elemental magic.
He holds up a finger.
Uh,
He holds up a finger. Says,
yeah.
"Talk too much.
That,
Hold on." And he turns and he walks back in a door and he leaves again for a few minutes. And then he comes back, right? And he comes back and you see he has in his hands 2 vials. And he says... He walks up to you, basically, and they're 2 glass vials, right? And you can see there's some sort of clear liquid inside, and he holds them out and he says, "Solve problem.
Ooh, what are they?
Holy water."
Holy water will stop him from reformulating?
Pour on bones.
I have a friend named Bones. Am I supposed to pour it on him or on...
Yeah, you should totally pour it on Bones.
Bryce looks at Matt and he says, "This odd one."
He sure is.
Do not encourage his stupidity.
How much for the vials?
25 gold each. Only need 1, but you should take spare.
I agree. I will go ahead and you said how much? 25
gold each. Yeah.
I'll hand over 5 platinum.
Okay. Cool.
And then I'll drop another 10 gold into the offering jar.
Grunts and he nods.
There we go. I can check another thing off of my list.
And he'll look at Matashtai and he'll say, "Temple needs repairs. We'll get repairs. Good."
It was real good.
He just kind of like nods like that. Like, you guys have done a good deed. He's done a good deed. The temple's gonna get, fixed. Good shit. It's a good day all around.
It was a good day.
Right? Yeah.
Ezra will hand one of the vials over to Matt.
Okay.
And just like, just so that it's spread between 2 people.
Vials holy water.
Put it in my bag.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So, jumping from you 2, so we're gonna move over at this point. So while you guys are interacting, Temple of Kelemvor, let's jump over to Bones, because Bones, you'll make it to the Guild of Fine Carvers before Ashes will make it to Guild.
Yeah.
Because it is on the way. So, Bones, you stop in at the Guild of Fine Carvers. You are welcomed as you head in. Not everyone, most people actually at this point still don't know who you are, right? But your name is getting circulated around, right? A couple people like ask after you. They introduce themselves, just minor folk, and they greet you warmly. And then one of the clerks asks what it is that you need. Do you need assistance with anything? What are you looking for?
Hey, just came to, put in a good day's work. Use the space.
Oh, okay. So they do have some like workshop areas if you wish to utilize them. Places where like there are tools of the trade. Mostly, most people of the guild tend to do their like it's kind of like any works craftsmanship trade, right? People end up buying their own stuff. Like they have their own saws and chisels and things like that back at their homes. But there's
I've got my own stuff.
But
I just haven't hung out here very much.
Exactly,
so.
But the guild space is kind of like that place where you can come and work and still be a little social, and there's still all of the tools of the trade here as well, especially like larger tools that people might not be able to afford. Like there's actually like big saws here, like saw blades and things like that.
Do you have a drill press?
Something, whatever the medieval equivalent might be for that type of scenario, sure.
Sweet.
So, what are you wanting to get done while you're here?
Okay. So, I want to take... Okay, remind me how many people we have that work for us? Any, like 6?
Oh, yes. Let me look. I think you guys are actually up to 7 now. Because of the addition of Anastas. But...
Oh, yeah, A Nasty. I love him.
Them.
Old A Nasty.
Whatever.
Not a whatever. You got Sine, Guillaume, Threnarv, Annowing, Adulon, Alan, Lift. I don't know if you're counting Lift or not. And then Anastas. So Alan is your larderer. He is basically the person that goes out and buys everything for you and brings it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so with Anastas, you're at 8 if you're counting Lift. So.
Yeah, he counts.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to make 12. I'm going to take 12 of my 20 rare wyvern teeth.
Okay.
And all that, a bunch of cord that I bought. I bought a bunch of not shit leather cord at some point.
Absolutely.
Which is probably in one of my sheets. I don't know which one.
Okay.
And I want to make little necklaces, pendants with a little troll skull on it, and on the back I want it to say home.
Okay, cool. So how much effort are you putting into these? Are you wanting them to be like great works of art?
Allows.
So if you're wanting to try to complete them all in this 8-hour span, which I would say
I
is
want to complete
possible.
them all in the 8-hour span.
So what I would say then is we'll just determine that they are, like, you're not trying to create a mastercraft workshop, you're not trying to sell these or anything like that. These are just simple gifts to give to people. Keepsakes, gotcha.
Friends.
So then we won't require a roll or anything like that because there's no way to fail this, right? You're not going to fail making these things. And there's also no way to succeed past a point because you're not putting in enough time to make them into special objects, right? Like rare objects or anything like that. So you spend a day socializing, right? People come in and they kind of like ask after you. They ask what you're working on.
That's right.
You know,
Doing the FaceTime.
You know, they a lot of the people that are talking to you, they're interested in what you're doing because of the material that you're doing it with, right? Remember, the Guild of Fine Carvers is primarily works with wood, right? So you being a bone carver is kind of like an outside of the usual scenario for them. So
Yeah,
a couple
I'll talk to
people.
him, I'll be like, yeah, when you're punching the hole, you gotta look at it.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, it'll just split, and can't take too much off the top, or you're just gonna lose that whole layer. And look, you
Nice.
can burn it just a little bit, and it makes the indentation super nice.
So you spend some time doing all these, doing these little projects. It's pretty grueling work to get this many done in an 8-hour shift, but you can do it. If anything, it's probably harder because you're doing smaller objects and you're doing like little fine, trying to do kind of finer detail work, shaping the skull and everything like that. At the end, by the end of it, right, your eyes are a little like bleary, like they sting a little bit,
That's
right?
fine.
You've been having
I'll
to
just
like squint
sleep
and
late
everything.
if I have.
No? Huh?
Yeah, I said I'll just sleep late if I have to.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna confer any like mechanical deficiencies or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's pretty grueling work, but you know, at the end of the night you got a bunch of these kind of pendants basically on the end of these leather thongs, and done with your evening. You head back to the lifted spirits after you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I let
Gotcha.
people look at the finishing product if they want, because I'm
Sure.
doing them.
Yeah, so you do notice the later it gets here, the less people there are, but the guild doesn't actually seem to close, right? There are people, there's like a night clerk that runs the counter at the front, and people come and go. It's just far less of them, because there are people that work at night at the guild headquarters. So you end up making your way back to the hacienda. Right.
La Hacienda.
Popping over to Ashes. Ashes, you make your way to the Steam and Steel. Find Imbric and Avi, the fire and water genasies. They see you coming in, and they have met you previously at this point. So they're at least somewhat familiar with you. They greet you and ask what they can do.
Well enough to know that they have that quirk about being enthusiastic about specific items.
The quirk about enthusiastic about specific. Oh,
yeah,
like
where Imbric's like only excited when we're talking about weapons, and Abby's only excited when we're talking about
I
armor.
I think anyone that meets Imbric and Abby for more than 5 minutes can grasp that quirk about them. Absolutely.
Okay.
So you head in and they greet you, or actually I would say probably Imbric greets you. Abby's occupied at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Imbric, just the guy I was looking for. So I've run into a problem. My weapon is good at cutting. It is not good at smashing. Kind sir, would you have anything that is good at smashing?
So Imbric chuckles, right, and it immediately is just like, absolutely. What are you looking for?
I don't know, something heavy, weighty.
One hand, two hand.
2 hands fine. I'm usually rocking 2 hands anyways.
Okay. So he will say, he kind of like gives you the eye. He says, simple, martial. He doesn't know like what your proficiencies are. Yeah, like, what are you used to using? You know, like what's your experience? You as a blood hunter, I believe, have proficiency with everything.
Examples of both simple and martial weapons.
Gotcha. So I believe you as a blood hunter have proficiency with all weapons.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he'll say, smashing, huh? Smashing.
Yeah.
Like just a maul, or
yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I can do them all.
All right.
You have something on hand?
Yeah. So I mean, so the Steam and Steel, the shop portion is mostly just a counter where Imbric and Avi like take orders and everything like that. But there are small like weapon racks on the left side and small like a handful of small armor stands on the right side, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, Imbric will walk over and basically like pull out a maul for you. And like you can go through a couple of different iterations, right? A maul is basically just a great big hammer.
Yep.
So Imbric will pull out a couple of different variations, right? Like the hammer being of a differing size and shape, and kind of like let you pick what you like the most, kind of like what feels best as far as like weight goes, etc. At the end of it, right, you are able to purchase a mundane maul for 10 gold.
All right, I will pay the man 10 gold and take my maul. Also, is Avi in?
Yeah, he's in. He's a bit
I-
busy right now. He's got a couple of orders he's been working on.
Right. I'm not sure if this is his specialty, but my group has found a need to protect ourselves from blistering cold.
Blistering cold. Like
Like,
winter?
like,
Like he's Imbric's like outside right now?
like, pretty much. Well, no, like
Super winter.
Worse?
way worse.
Alright.
Imagine like just middle of a blizzard, out in the forest, nowhere to hide, just wind everywhere, ice.
More like winter clothes.
Right. Or some kind of
It's not really an us thing, I would think. Hold up a minute.
Hold up.
The direct
I said, hold up.
might say. Really there. Really there. Not really there. Not there. There's not really like a clothier on Troll Skull Alley, right? There's not really an individual that just, but I mean, Imbric's kind of just like, it sounds like you just need some heavy winter gear.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the city selling that type of stuff right now.
all right. Well,
I mean, unless you're looking for something a little bit more specific, but I don't know.
well, I mean,
Not really.
just being honest with you, there's this just one hallway in this dungeon we're going through where it seems magically enchanted to be cold as fuck.
That's fuck.
We just trying to get through it. So, but yeah, I see what you're getting at. I appreciate the information.
Because you always try just like fire, I guess. Light a bunch of torches, carry them with you, that type of thing.
Yeah, I suppose.
I have no idea. This is why I stay in the forge and you go into dungeons.
Yeah,
Nah, super cold only. Only
understand.
super cold.
But yeah, I imagine the torches would have trouble staying lit. But yeah. Anyways, I will not take up any more of your day.
Interesting.
You have a good one.
You too. All right, so you leave. So is there anything else? Bones spends an 8-hour work shift, right? So Bones is pretty much occupado, but Ashes, Ezra, Matashtai, is there anything else you guys are wanting to try to accomplish this evening?
We are in the Sea Ward right now.
You're in the dock. You two are in the dock ward right now.
How close is the Sea
So-
Ward?
Whop. Put you guys over on the actual Waterdeep map real quick. The Sea Ward's all the way down at the bottom, or Dock Ward is all the way down at the bottom. Sea Ward is all the way in the northwestern side of town. Sea Ward is the rich people side of town.
I can't think of anything real specific that I wanted to do right now.
I would ask if Matt wants to accompany me. I'm going to stop by and see if Mert's in at his at the Light Singers Theater.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, I can go with you there. Have I met Matt or Mert? Yeah, I've met Matt.
I don't know. Have you met Matt?
I don't know that you have met Mert.
You would have met Mert in the meeting. That would have been.
Yeah, I don't know
more-
that you have met Mert in and out of the session 1. You guys are gonna be a group, and we are your kind of like backers meeting.
Gotcha.
I don't know that you would have met Mert outside of that. So
Yeah,
okay, you guys are gonna head that direction. Ashes, are you doing anything, or do you have any plans?
Not in particular.
Okay, so you head back to the lift, and all right. So, a carriage ride later.
Was it
Guys,
2 silver?
yeah, 2 silver. Ezrah and Matashtai make their way up to the Light Singers Theater, where after asking around, you're asked to wait for a few minutes,
Yeah,
right,
that's okay.
as people go. An usher goes to investigate, and he comes back, and Mert is in the building and is available for you to speak to. So you are led up there. You find stepping out of the room as you get there is Mert's
Bodyguard.
yeah, his butler / bodyguard, basically. And then
I wave politely.
yeah, he kind of gives you this nod and lets you both into the room. I say room, and onto the balcony, basically. There's a little room, and then there's a curtain, and then there's the actual balcony seating. Mert's out on the balcony, but as you guys come in, Mert will come in. He'll come out of the balcony area and close the curtain behind, so you guys can actually have some privacy in the box. And he'll plop down and smile at you and ask how you've been. What can I do for you?
It's good to see you again. I don't know if you formally have met, but this is one of my companions, Matt.
I remember his face.
How you doing? I walk over and hold up my hand.
He'll shake it. He'll give you a couple some brisk pumps, right? And then he'll say, "You're Lerals, right?"
Yeah, she's the one that asked me to head down there.
Good to know.
He has saved my life more than once.
Well, you all seem rather capable. Why we put you together?
Yeah. You had asked me to look into something while I was in the second floor of the dungeon. You were talking about some mage who was studying the Shadow Realm.
Calabash, yes.
Yes.
You found something.
We found this chamber. We found a bunch of empty books. Turns out a couple of them appear empty, but are more than they appear.
Ah,
More than meets the eye.
So I have brought them. They seem to have either a illusory ink or perhaps a magic. I was not prepared to deal with it, but I figured you might have the tools or be interested in finding your own means to.
Yes. Hidden, coded messages. Fantastic. Great work, Ezra. Great work.
Thank you.
Kind of like he'll take the assuming that you proffer the journals, he'll bustle up and take them and kind of like flip through them, grunt and kind of like clap you on the shoulder as he's saying the whole great work thing, and then he'll sit back down and he'll say, fantastic news, fantastic. Did you find anything else?
There was a chest in the room that our cat friend was able to pick the lock, and it had a note saying that implying there was money in there, but the money had
Where the money at?
dispensed.
Less interesting. More interested in his research, his knowledge, not his coin.
Yep. Yeah. The only other thing I found, I don't know if it really means anything to you, but there was a series of glyphs on the floor, but it was missing a section. And I was going to do some research and see if I could figure it out to complete the ritual, because, curious and all. But
Wards or protection?
all I was able to ascertain is that it was abjuration man.
Abjuration. Well, be careful investigating, but good luck.
Yeah, I've learned the lesson of not being careful.
Well.
I kind of look at my hands a little bit real quick.
So he looks at you, looking at your hands, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he's just like, well, don't let that caution go too far in one direction.
I make no promises.
You don't want to be so concerned about
My hands.
Sure. I was gonna say your safety, so concerned about your safety that you don't investigate things. Caution is valuable asset used in measure. Can be quite the issue overdone.
Understood. I appreciate the insight. What you got?
I was gonna say I'm very interested and look forward to seeing if you discover more. I will have these journals sent to some people I trust, and we'll see if we can't get some of this information figured out.
Out of curiosity, there, Mert, what are you looking into this Calabash fellow for?
The same reason we're sending you into Undermountain. I believe Calabash spent quite some time researching the Shadowland, which we believe may be linked to the madness that springs out of Undermountain.
I gotcha. Think he might be one of the big keys to why that's happening, huh?
I was not sure. I don't know that he's a big key, but maybe his research could be.
Alright.
As far as we're
That
aware,
helps.
he was just a minor apprentice of Halaster, but a minor apprentice can strike on a good idea. We're just trying, and he says this in kind of like a, he says, we're just trying, and then he makes this kind of like grimace, like he's like, oh, I probably shouldn't say this, but I've kind of already started, so I guess I'll say it anyways, right? He says, we're just trying to not have all our eggs in one basket. And he says that as he's looking at you and Ezra, right? You know? Like, they're not just relying on you guys to, a couple months from now, best Halaster Blackcloak, like, right? Like, they're also still doing things and actively researching and trying to figure out ways that they can help mitigate dangers, etc.,
Sure, that's fair. Well, thanks for the vote of confidence.
Mert will say, I've been in this line of work for a long time. You all seem like good fellows, but I've seen good fellows fall. Quite the numbers.
That's fair.
Enough of the doom and gloom, though, and he kind of like pats around himself, and you see him pull into and he pulls out a little satchel, right? And he kind of like tosses it over towards Ezra. And
Skeleton hand.
yeah, skeleton
No!
hand.
No more.
And it is a small, I say satchel, it's a small pouch, right? And it doesn't, you catch it, it's got coins in it, right? You can hear from the jingle.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have very many coins in it.
It's jing jing jangling, tang tang tangling.
Do you open the pouch?
No.
Yeah, so you just hold on to it. Okay, so he nods and he says, for your efforts. I never want to
much
think.
Appreciated.
Never want you to think that you aren't appreciated.
I do have a question though. I know part of the agreement was that you would put out feelers
Mule.
for.
Mule.
Yes, you sent word back that the last one didn't work out. I think I might have another lead, but I'm still trying to get it confirmed. Hopefully, I'll have some information for you soon. A day or so,
I'd like to
perhaps.
purchase a mule.
Okay. We are planning on staying topside for at least a couple of days.
A little
We've
bit of
got
an R and
some,
R.
Yep.
Take your time.
Me and one of the other compatriots, Ashes, bigger fellow, burly, looks a little intimidating, horns and the such.
The Teethling.
Yes.
Not one.
Him and I have taken a similar interest with alchemy. So we've been working on some potions to help us.
Don't blow
maintain
yourself
vitality. I will try my best.
up. An important lesson to learn.
He is my shield. So I
Kind of smiles at that, right? He says, "Fair enough." Right. Well,
thank you for your time. I will get out of your hair, and yeah, hopefully I'll hear from you soon.
hopefully, I hear from you soon.
Thank you.
And you guys split. Assuming Matashtai doesn't have anything to add to the scenario, right? You guys split. You head out. Mert goes back out on the balcony. The butler bodyguard, is there at the door as you guys come back in. He sees you off. You guys leave the Lightsinger theater.
As we get into the carriage, I will then open.
Okay. There aren't a lot of coins in here, but it still has a little bit of heft to it because it has 5 harbor moons in.
That's enough for 4
Harbor moons are nothing. There is no equivalent to a harbor moon on your character sheet. Each harbor moon is 5 platinum pieces. Is worth 5 platinum pieces.
And you said how many in there?
There are 5 harbor moons.
So 25 plat?
Basically gain 25 plat, yeah.
Damn.
At some point...
Doing favors for rich friends pays.
That's plenty enough to get some mules.
Stop.
Dwarves and mules.
So,
So I'm giving none of the gold to Bones because he is not shutting up about mules.
I'm a fucking baron right now. I don't give a fuck.
Sounds good to me. Alright, so, Ezra and Matashtai, you have anything else that you're... so at this point, right, you have gone to see Bryce at the Temple of Kellenvor, which would have taken maybe an hour or so.
Yeah, I'd be ready to head back.
Yeah, it's still not super late, right? But you guys, it's probably getting into early evening at this point. What with the trip across the city and everything like that, and the waiting times that you have to go through. So, yeah, if you guys head back now, you'd actually probably getting back to the Lifted Spirits around a good dinner time. So, if that's what you guys do, Ashes, Ezra, and Matashtai could actually spend a decent amount of dinner or a decent amount of time at the Lifted Spirits. Bones drags himself in like late, like midnight late type scenario,
or some shit.
right?
Yeah.
So, all right, sounds good. Is there anything any of you are wanting to do at the Lifted Spirits before we close out the night of the 22nd?
I don't think so.
That isn't it? Okay,
Did we have any mail or anything like that?
No, not at the moment. So you stop by with Cine, and Cine will... well, nothing... There's nothing... No mail or anything like that. I did have... Well... So, I told you I had the private investigator down the street start looking into this halfling, right? Emic Brune.
Yeah, I remember.
He got back to me earlier today, and well, we might want to keep. We might want to retain his services for a while and keep an eye out on things. I think Imik might have a bit of a grudge against this place, and he might try to cause trouble.
Well, that don't sound
Why?
good.
Apparently, he tried to buy this place previously, but someone else bought it first. A Volo Thamp.
Yeah. You. I'm pretty sure you've met Volo. He's been here he's been here a couple times.
I try to forget annoying people.
Okay. Sorry.
Ezra. Right? Okay. But Sine says, I don't think it's anything to worry about now, but if you would allow it, I would I'd take some of the coin from the inn, from the tavern, and put it towards having Vincent keep an eye on things.
How much will his services set
He's
us
not
back?
doing in-depth things, just kind of keeping an eye, listening for rumors and that sort of thing. So he's asking 5 gold per week.
Here, why don't I just go ahead and...
Can we retain him for the year?
I was gonna say. So that guy talked you into retaining him?
You
I'll just go
guys,
ahead and-
again, right? You're having adventure moment, right?
I'm not here.
Where you
I'm
guys are like, we're adventurers. We have a shit ton of money. Everyone else, not so much. Remember, some of your staff, you pay 5 gold a week to work here. This would be paying. You wouldn't be paying Vincent 5 gold to go like actively investigate this guy. You're paying Vincent 5 gold to just listen for rumors. So Sine's like,
I will,
you know.
I will give him the 5 gold for this first week. Just here, let's just try and use the inn funds for upkeep and making sure everyone's happy. And here, we had a fairly successful journey, and this is important. What would Tulip and Aster say? If I let things.
As will do. Very good, very good. All right. And he'll tell you, he'll have food and drink brought to you, whether you guys want to dine in the spirits or if you want to dine up in the common room. All right. And I think we can just
Ashes. So while we were on our little trip, I remembered you know that skull thing that we keep running into that likes to build itself back up.
Oh yeah, that lightning thing.
And I'm gonna pull out the vial of holy water. It turns
Ashes
out
goes.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
He has the Dracula reaction. Sorry, I apologize.
It turns out that this should end that cycle. After we have disposed of it, we pour this on its remains, and it should cease to be a problem.
Sounds
Matt
great.
already has one, and since you're also kind of in the front lines, I think it makes more sense for you to have it than me, because I'm always.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll.
And it's so yeah. Apparently, holy water is what does it.
All right. Thank you. I'll be sure to use that.
And supposedly it should only take one of the vials to dispense of the creature, but he recommended having a spare in case, death.
I have added a vial of holy water to my inventory.
Subtracted.
Fantastic. All right. I think now is a pretty good time for us to take a tame exit to tonight's festivities and say, you guys bed down for the evening. You rest well. The next day comes, and that is where we will find ourselves next week. Is on the day of the 23rd. We'll have some R&R, some downtime activities in Waterdeep, topside. Right, we'll see what goes on. We've been talking about this. We've been talking about this for 2 weeks. Some topside activities. We've taken care of a couple of them, but I'm sure everyone has more things. So.
I have done almost half of mine.
See, so we're making good progress already.
And those were the quick ones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like some of the things were quick, as in like they are quick time-wise, but they took like actual talking. But I think a bunch of you are gonna have like points of like, I want to do this thing, but it takes 8 hours, and I go, okay, it takes 8 hours. You do the thing. We move on, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got left.
Exactly. So I think we'll be able to gloss through a bunch of stuff next week, which I think is good because you guys are probably going to get a lot of information about a bunch of different stuff. So that is where we will end for tonight. The party makes it out of the dungeon, makes it that much closer, finds a little bit of a secret. I will say this, right? As Ezrah and Ashes sleep that night, they are both awaken, right? At some point in the night, and they feel
Oh.
And they feel the blessing of Dumathoin, the Keeper of Secrets, fade.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
We've got our use out of it, though.
Yeah, I had no idea whether you guys were actually going to get any use out of that at all, right? But you ended up absolutely getting some use out of it, so that was pretty cool. So, all right, I think that's where we'll go ahead and close out tonight's session. I hope everyone enjoyed. We'll see you all next week for some more Dungeon the Mad Mage. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.